Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 106. I am your host. I'm in the basement. I'm with my co-host and son, Jack. 1 year older than last time we spoke on this show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your birthday was on Wednesday.
Yeah, on Dynamite.
You are now a 15-year-old man.
Yes.
Yes. And you had a good birthday. I don't know. We did what we usually
Yeah.
do, which is whatever you want, which is drive around Southern Ontario looking
Aside
for...
from the fact that I was really tired tonight, it was one of those times where I struggled to keep my eyes open in the car.
I feel like that's why you probably felt sick yesterday, or headache yesterday. You're just exhausted, dude. You got to stop staying up so late.
Well, my birthday wasn't even my fault, 'cause I wanted to wake up early, but then somehow that translated to waking up at 6, which is not my intention.
Ridiculous.
But then it's like I can't really go back to sleep, so...
So yeah, it was a day of getting up. We went out for a nice brunch, and then it's driving around to places that interest you to look for figures and other stuff. So we'll get into that. I think figuring it out this week, right, will be you sort of going over what you got for your birthday / found for your birthday.
Yeah.
Because there's a light week of actual releases and stuff right after the beefy last week. Everything came out last week. And then what else did we do? Oh, yesterday we actually went out into the world, and that was a pretty fun day for you, right?
Aside from my head, yeah.
We went down to waterfront in Toronto and
I feel like another part of the headache was when we were even right off the bat, first 2 minutes when we're running around on the thing, I'm my throat's it's you're running along, you cannot catch a breath.
Yeah.
We're just zipping around it, I could not catch a breath, so that probably doesn't help.
So it was a bunch of inflatable obstacles and things on water, right? So that you basically, we went with a group of friends, and the kids all went out and just sort of ran around on these inflatable climbing things and slide things and jump off things for a couple hours. And then
It's really cold.
Something I had never done, which is surprising as a resident of Ontario my whole life, was go up into the CN Tower.
I think I left my nickel in the car.
Oh, really?
I can't find it, so I think it's in there. Because I left it with my sunglasses.
So yeah, we went up, I don't know, it's 400 meters or something like that, up in a really, really fast elevator where your ears pop.
The elevator, the elevator was cool. I don't know if you're
That was an awkward post-COVID, right? To be shoved into an elevator with a bunch of strangers, packed tight like sardines in there.
Yeah, it's weird. It's I don't know, people are freaking out. It's A, it's cool. B, it's an elevator.
So yeah, it was cool. I don't
the glass for.
I don't think it was amazing, but it was a cool experience to say I've done, right? Because I had never done it before.
I kind of forgot that that's probably there's probably a lot of not natives there, because I don't know, just a
lot of tourists. You mean
walking around just assume they're Canadian.
Tons of tourists there.
Yeah.
That's one of the places you go. So that was a fun day. And then tonight there's our neighbors are doing their annual bike and wine tour, which is sort of a group of adults biking around the town to various stops in people's houses and drinking wine.
Group of adults biking around, that is.
And then resuming the bike tour. I think it's I think it's stopping at a couple bars and people's houses, and the idea is you stop and drink.
Multiple reasons.
And then
first off, we have a bunch of adults biking around in a group. That is weird.
That is weird.
Personally, I don't want to witness that, but second,
wow. You are ageist. This show has revealed that very much so.
Second, drunk biking. Okay, you're gonna get a DUI, a bike DUI.
Well, I won't be, because at best, if we're done
BUI.
in time,
no, you probably wouldn't.
I'll bike, but I won't drink. Right?
Oh, you won't drink?
Well, not really. No, I never really.
Would
do.
You well, I know you do a bit.
I might have a beer or two on the bike. But
yeah,
not,
not to
excess. No,
okay, maybe not you, but someone will get a BUI.
Maybe
right? Biking under the influence.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it was just the two reasons.
And then we'll end up at Shepherd's for the usual
shocker
poolside party. So that'll be a fun night.
I don't know. We'll see.
Your brother, I know you care so much, finished his summer league basketball season undefeated.
If you say so.
So they go into the playoffs as the top seed. They even get a bye in the first round.
That
so they
is the thing I'm being told.
I mean, again, because you care so much, your brother has played amazing. The last 2 games, he's been our best player and just super confident little dude out there.
Cool.
Smallest guy in the court, but he's killing it. So, yeah, anyways, what else?
I've been watching Clone Wars. Been binging Clone Wars.
You've been binging
I started a couple of weeks ago.
Wars,
maybe a week ago. In the span of maybe just over a week, I've watched 4 seasons.
That's gross.
Yeah. I'm really happy because last night I watched this morning I watched because last night I ended at I finished season 4 episode 18.
Yep.
I think it's from 15 to 18. There's this arc where Obi-Wan goes undercover as a bounty hunter, and he's trying to kind of infiltrate a plan with this guy who's planning to kidnap Palpatine.
Yeah.
Because obviously they think he's a good guy.
Right.
And Cad Bane, who's Cad Bane. Cad Bane
Your
is
favorite.
cool.
Yeah, you like him.
Anyways, that was good. And then this morning I watched the final 4 episodes of season 4, which I really like, which is a couple episodes with Ventress.
Yeah.
Remember bald white head?
Oh yes, I do.
lightsabers?
Asajj Ventress.
Yeah,
I
her.
remember her.
There's a couple episodes of her, and then last 2 episodes are when they bring back Darth Maul. So
Cool.
that's my favorite. And then I also watched the first episode of season 5, which is also Darth Maul. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And also I'm enjoying because Hancock is watching through Clone Wars, like he's on the last season now, so he's binging, and I'm enjoying because I've told him like probably a billion times about Maul and Cad Bane, and like as he's watching, he's like saying what I've been saying, like, and I'm being proven right. Like,
is this his first time watching it?
Yeah, I think it's his first time watching Clone Wars. I know he's seen like some of the movies, but like not in a long time, so it's kind of like I'd say it's basically a first time.
Nice.
So yeah, it's just funny because I'm being proven right because Darth Maul is
and that
the coolest
almost
boy.
never happens, right? So
Right.
Did you notice all the wall treatment, the sound treatment's up?
Yeah,
But did you hear me pounding on the walls?
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Okay, yeah, I heard some. That's what I thought it was, but then I was like, it sounds like you're pounding too hard.
I've pretty much given up and feeling like I just have to put them back up because I've added more of the adhesive and it just releases from the tiles. So I got to figure out some other way to stick them up because it's not working. Every time I come in, I have to put up like half a dozen at least that have fallen down.
Yeah,
so.
I can remember when I was.
It does sound better in here, but
I was in the basement.
It's frustrating.
It might have been when I was doing the letterbox.
You could hear them dropping.
I don't know. I just like. I don't remember why, but I saw in here there's just a bunch of them were like on the ground again.
You could come down here tonight, and there will be probably half of them are off the wall. And I've added more and more and more adhesive, and it's the adhesive sticks to the wall like gangbusters. Like I can't get it off the wall. It's just
like the other
but it
side.
won't stick to the foam for whatever reason. So
you need to like reverse them.
I gotta find a way. That's the same material on both sides, so it won't help.
Well, then it's maybe a surface thing. I don't know.
I think it is. It's just not meant for these, even though it was what was recommended and what people seem to use.
I was gonna say if it came with them, but it
no, it came like it was one of those frequently bought together. People that buy these buy this. So I tried it and it didn't work very well.
And you usually just super glue them to the wall.
I might.
Or you super glue them to the adhesive because it's not like ruining the wall.
That's not a bad idea actually. Take some glue and see if that helps.
Yeah.
So I think format's going to change a bit again today, right? We're going to we didn't get around to talking about Death by Dishonor, and I do want to talk about that ROH AEW show. So we're going to sneak that into the Dynamite spot, and we're going to move Dynamite to after the trivia segment, correct? So we're going to, by the end of this episode, you'll hear us talk about Death before Dishonor, AEW Dynamite, and then we're going to preview SummerSlam as well, right? I think are the 3 things we're going to tackle today. And then we're going to also obviously have the trivia as we always do and news to start off. And then Jack will hit us with his figure update from his birthday score. Anything else you want to discuss before we get started on that schedule of excellence? All right, well, let's get moving then and move into our first segment where we discuss some of the weeks, and there are a bunch, news and rumors. So I know there is one story you're dying to get to, but I'm going to make you wait for a second because you were so excited. But I will still start it with the ratings, which is just taking a look at NXT and AEW Dynamite. So NXT this week averaged 600,000 viewers exactly, which is up 2%, and earned a 0.13 in the key demographic. That's the same as last week. So that's their highest viewership number in over a month. But again, the numbers don't fluctuate much. I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep doing ratings because it's just kind of like it moved 3% or 7%. You know what I mean? It's pretty.
Is it something to start off like
It
consistent?
is. It's just tradition. I've started out doing this. And then AEW Dynamite.
Not a hindrance.
No, it's not. Averaged 976,000 viewers, which is up 7%, and earned a 0.33 in the key demographic, so up 3%. So AEW up in both areas slightly, and NXT up slightly in overall viewership and holding steady in the demographic. Didn't make any note of any major competition, so those are fairly solid numbers for each show, I would guess.
Cool.
What you got for us? You want to lead with it?
Yeah.
You want to lead with the most important news of the week?
The biggest news of the week, at least for us.
For sure.
My fellow countrymen, listen up. For Canadians, AEW is finally coming to Toronto. So they announced that on Fight for the Fallen. So they are coming to Toronto. Like,
you are excited.
It's pretty sweet. Just for Dynamite and Rampage, so oddly enough, different dates.
Yeah, so not doing them back to back.
October 12th will be live Dynamite, and then I assume 13th, which is the Thursday, will be live Rampage, and then probably airs the day after.
That's correct.
I assume because I assume maybe they're flying back then.
Yeah.
And so listen up, folks. Tickets are on sale Friday, August 26th at 10 a.m. Eastern time.
You just made a tactical error. You should have told everyone like the day later so that we get ours first.
August 27th. But yeah, so I was like freaking out. This is fantastic.
We've been waiting for it, right? So Toronto is about 40 minutes away from us. So we plan on going. We're going to try really hard to get tickets and go. So that'll be cool to review a show we were at as well. I think that'll be fun.
I'm just happy. I've probably waited for that since they started. So it's probably it's been 2.5 years.
I think even your brother and mother who are not wrestling fans, just because they enjoy going to live shows, they're kind of like a lot of people feel about sports like baseball, for example, where they're like, I'll go watch it live, but I can't watch it on TV, right?
I wouldn't even watch it live, but I get what you're saying.
And just because of the energy of that crowd,
it'll be insane,
be off the charts. So it'll be fun for them.
Canadian wrestling fans plus AEW, it'll be.
And it's not a huge venue, right? I was expecting them to either play Scotiabank, which is the Raptors venue, or
ACC, or
there's talk of the Skydome, whatever Rogers Center. I think that was never an option. It's just
I would love that someday because that would just be insane.
So it's in the Coca-Cola Center, I think it's called
Coca-Cola
now.
Coliseum.
Something like used to be the Rico. I think it's where the Maple Leafs farm team plays. The Marlies play there, I believe. So it's a legit arena. At least it'll have I don't know what the capacity is, but I'm really pretty excited. It should be really fun. Hopefully we can get tickets.
I remember there was the talk of maybe that's all out, but then it wasn't. So then I thought maybe next year. I didn't think it would come this year.
Yeah.
So I'm super pumped for that. That's really great.
And you know your mom, if we really want these tickets, she will find a way, right? I'm hoping that she'll get on there and find a way to get us some. So we are very optimistic that we will be in attendance.
I'm glad that they're not only coming to Canada, but it's also super convenient for us.
Yes, in the summer, not far from our house, right? Lots of opportunity.
I think it'll be during school, but
oh yeah, it is October. Sorry.
I'm just glad
tickets,
at least
we can order them in the summer.
Yeah, because I was worried that's the week we're starting school and 10 a.m. We would be we'd be in school, but it's the week before, so it works out fantastically.
Yes, it does.
That is awesome.
So that's great news. Update on Jonathan Gresham. According to a fairly new report from Fightful Select, he is not factored in any AEW or ROH plans because, as we talked about, he asked for his release following Death by Dishonor, which we'll talk about.
Before Dishonor.
Sorry. Before, we'll talk about that. He had a match with Claudio Castagnoli there, so we'll talk about that.
The worst name to spell on the planet.
Reportedly, he got into a heated conversation with AEW president and ROH owner Tony Khan before the match. I guess he wasn't happy with where it was going or where his character was going. So no word on if he's been granted his release, but he has requested it. And even on that show, it may come up again, I did find it strange because he had a recent heel turn, right? And that was not a part of the pay-per-view at all. It was him coming out pretty much normal.
He came in a shirt
he wasn't wearing the octopus mask, right?
No,
so
I noticed that.
But yeah, I really like Gresham. So I don't know what the issue is, but I hope he ends up somewhere that I watch because he's cool.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got?
Another fantastic announcement from this week's Dynamite. The Trios Championships have been made official.
Finally.
Titles have been revealed. Tournament confirmed. It just says coming soon, so we don't know much yet. But we do know there will be a tournament, and the finals will be at All Out. So that's cool because the Trios house will be in full effect by the time they swing around our neck of the woods. But that's great because that's another thing that a lot of people, us included, have wanted for a while. So I think that's great.
Oh, absolutely. And this company just
so easy for them to just pump out a bracket because they have
they just crush trios matches, right?
Slew of factions to choose from.
Yep.
It's great, especially with Undisputed Elite coming back next week.
Speaking of trios, that's something else we could have mentioned in news, right? As we booked tickets to go to see Super Kicked, a local promotion in Toronto, where it's going to be the House of Black. So we're getting Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews taking on.
Buddy Matthews is my boy.
Some local talent. One who
we saw.
Wheeler, what's his first name?
Mark Wheeler,
who we saw at Great Canadian Wrestling, who we were pretty impressed with. So we'll see him again in a match there. But yeah, that should be a fun show too.
I'm excited to see those guys because I like Murphy a lot.
It should be fun, man. Mm-hmm. Especially watching Buddy Murphy work indie style could be very fun.
Oh yeah, that would be cool for sure.
The NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, so they are currently vacant, but there has been talk within the company about sort of putting those titles on.
Well, before one of them was vacant, so somehow Perez was still a champion.
Right. So there's talk of Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley being sort of favored as the champions according to Meltzer. So I guess Alundra Blaze was on the show. I've stopped watching 2.0 unless it's sort of fits
We'll get
perfectly into
there.
my schedule. Yeah, that too. There might be news surrounding that. So she announced a fatal 4-way match to crown new champions, and that'll be Toxic Attraction, hooray, versus
Here's hoping they do it 3 times.
Carter and Chance versus Feroz and Leon versus Niall and Tatum Paxley. So out of that foursome, I would suggest
I think you'll agree it's a star-studded affair.
That Niall Paxley prediction is probably pretty safe. But I don't know. Those titles are pretty worthless at this point. They don't have a division. Like, I guess technically there's 4 teams, but one of those is thrown together, Niall and Paxley. And the other 3
been kind of
exist, but that's it.
That's been kind of the Diamonds. Haven't they kind of run that storyline before, though?
That Paxley's trying to train with Niall, and I think Niall has accepted her recently. Because I think
the
last episode I watched,
because
Niall
the Diamond
like,
Mine face turn, yeah.
I think it was like, I'll meet you in the gym. See, I don't know. Are they faces? I don't know. I think they're kind of...
Creeds definitely are.
Right. Roddy's not.
Roddy, not really.
Kemp
but then
isn't,
they
I don't
I
think.
also saw that they had a 8-man tag against D'Angelo's crew.
Oh, boy.
Also, like, if they're... I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think generally speaking, yeah. I mean, Niall seems kind of face to me, but I don't even pay attention, so...
Nope, me either. But I figured I'd update people on that just in case. Your turn.
So AEW announced a $100,000 donation to Oceania during Fight for the Fallen,
That's
which
cool.
they came in last week during the Shark Week. In previous years, they had donated to like gun violence victims, COVID-19 relief, domestic abuse victims, and sexual assault survivors. Because Fight for the Fallen is typically like their charity show, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's neat.
That is neat. Back to some NXT news, possibly. So according to Dave Meltzer, NXT is to, quote, revert back somewhat, unquote, to Triple H's original version, which would make the two of us in this tiny studio exceptionally happy.
I will take the somewhat. I mean, that's not perfectly ideal,
right.
But I will take it.
So there is an expectation behind the scenes, is what he's reporting, that Triple H's previous version of NXT will come back in certain aspects. Said to be still recruiting top-tier athletes, but may not be shying away from established independent talent, which they've sort of been doing, right? So, like, I'm fine with the combination of that.
That makes sense to me.
Use it to develop some people, but guess who could help them develop? Veterans that know what they're doing already, right?
Right.
So,
and
yeah.
Also, to me, it's like, I don't want these athletes right on TV. Like
put them in the PC for a while.
That's what I was saying. It's like you need to do a lot of cleaning off of TV. Like, I'm not saying do like a mass cut.
No, just demote them to you're not
a lot of them off of TV. Chuck them in the performance.
You're
center.
not on camera talent yet.
Exactly. Like even someone like who's major, like Cora Jade, get her out.
Even like I know it would never happen, but I'd be like, Von Wagner need more seasoning, right? Like there's a whole bunch of people.
Get him out of there. Like there's a lot of people you need to get out. And even just like to polish up, and then if in those certain aspects, I would like you bring back the old title designs, because I think the women's title and the men's title look
get rid of the new
now.
color scheme.
Get rid of the color
together.
scheme. You put the logos back. You put the set design back.
Yep.
You make it bigger, because you know how like the ringside area is like really small and they got the clear barricade.
I find that ironic, because you have people who aren't that experienced, and you're giving them less room to work with.
Revert back to the whole. The pre 2.0 setup. You get rid of the 2.0 name too. Like, get that out of here. And I don't know. Find a way to bring back
3.0, NXT 3.0.
Because or NXT 1.0 too.
I think you would agree. Our ideal would be that this show we're doing right now covers Dynamite, a really good NXT. Right. That's our wheelhouse. Is what we'd like to do.
If NXT reverts back, I will gladly take it back.
Right.
But if it's 2.0, I don't want it.
No, if we hear it's consistently good and we check it out, then I would love to bring it back.
If it even so much as reverts back, I'll like watch it, and then if I like it, even if I don't like it, I'll just like if they revert back, we'll review the first one and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, because the heyday of our podcast, when we've been doing it for over 2 years now, was when it was like AEW was new and killing it, and NXT was awesome too. Like there was the odd week where we liked NXT better. I
remember at least when we started though, it was like mid 2020. So NXT, I remember NXT being kind of stale.
Yeah.
And then like late 2020 to like early 2021, they started picking up, and I think 2021 was generally good until 2.0.
Right.
Because I remember they were in a bit of a slump when we started, but then it was getting good again.
So I would still put this under like the rumor category, but it's a rumor that I would love to have happen.
Yeah, with Triple H as head of creative, there's a lot of hope, we'll say.
Agree. And even hope even in terms of stock, because the stock price went up when it was announced that Vince was out and Triple H was taking over. So that's a little bit and I love that, because that would be a dagger right to Vince's heart. right? Like he just assumes it's going to fold when he's gone. But some people are like, this is maybe what it needs, right? To get fresh again, or maybe get sold. I don't know what's going to happen. But anyways, it's there's a bit of optimism for us, which is nice.
A bit of a news on WrestleMania. So Philadelphia's Lincoln Financial Field. What an exciting name that is. I assume it's a stadium because that's hosting WrestleMania 40. So that's the first time Philly will be hosting Mania since 1999, which would be Mania 15.
And if it's a field, it's generally going to be a stadium atmosphere, right?
So what that would be...
What are you trying to figure out here?
25 years since the last Philly Mania. Which would be 1999, so that's...
You would know that, not me.
Cool.
Nice. My last piece of news is, again, this is something so definitely this is still a rumor, but God, am I hoping for it. So Wrestling Observer, again, talk about Kevin Dunn and Bruce Pritchard getting replaced now that Triple H has taken charge. And that would be amazing. Just get these guys with their stale ideas and they're sort of too comfortable in their positions.
What's
get
Kevin
them
Dunn do
out.
Again? I forget.
I don't know. I think he's part of the production side. I think he gets blamed for all the ridiculous camera cuts that they do. So I mean, there's even potential that main roster could get interesting, right? Which is why I'm sort of pitching to you that change of format of the show a little bit, where we may introduce a segment.
If Raw went 2 hours too, and it gets better, I would consider reviewing that.
It won't go 2 hours.
I know Triple H wants that.
Won't happen. It'll be about the advertisers. They get advertising money. I saw someone's quote. It was pretty funny. It was basically, the only way you'll get a 2-hour Raw is if you watch Raw on 1.5 speed. Which I agree with.
If they do that though, I would start watching it. If there's a change in the product and like it's a big if they cut Raw down, then because I would be with you, like, because we review a 2-hour show every week. So like if Raw was a better time, like I will never review a 3-hour Raw, but I would consider it if it was shorter.
Yep.
And if it didn't suck, but
right, if it wasn't awful and longer than anything else on TV or watching even some sports or even most movies, right? Like, I don't know where, I know where because it meant money from advertisers, but 3 hours in one sitting is too much for anything, in my opinion.
It's a big if, but we'll see what they do with this stuff. There's a lot of potential.
So I am tapped out for news. The rest are you, sir.
I got a couple more.
Do it.
I'll do this one first. So continuing the Triple H train. He reinstated Max Dupree in Maximum Male Models a week after he was removed.
Right.
Because Vince McMahon didn't like him. Triple H put him back.
Yes.
So that's good. Except I
like
guess
back with that faction again.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So him and Cromwell's still there.
So we have 2 Max Duprees running there, basically.
Technically, yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, he's back. That's cool. I mean, I'd rather him as LA Knight, but
apparently it was something about Vince didn't like the delivery of it, and I think what I read was Knight was also critical of the words that were scripted for him, which good for him, man, because 95% of the time the stuff they write for these guys is crap, and they're not allowed to deviate from it, right? So it really boxes them into like looking stupid. And he's been around long enough and is comfortable enough going, man, you guys are making me look dumb, I think. And I don't think Vince likes that, obviously, right? But he's gone. Who's Vince? Who cares? Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now.
I wouldn't be surprised if he still got some
Of course. Of course he does.
Things are looking good.
He will
so
have
far.
influence until he dies.
Yeah.
Right? Because his daughter is the CEO, so you don't think that like they
CEO with his right-hand man.
You don't think they talk at all, right, about what's going on?
I know she doesn't talk to Shane.
Right, but anyways.
But things are looking good, yeah.
Yep.
Last one. So they didn't announce it until last night, but Battle of the Belts 3, which has also been billed Saturday Fight Night, is set for August 6th, which is a week from today.
Yep.
And they've only announced one match. But, which doesn't sound good, but that match is Claudio Castagnoli versus Konosuke Takeshita for the ROH title, which is
Take my money.
That sells any show for me.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I love Takeshita. I think Claudio's been on a roll. I think this will be awesome. That is really cool.
I added, I think, on our year-end awards, because I keep adding suggestions of things we could do, and I put, what did I put? Where is it? I've got it open. Like breakout star of the year or rookie of the year or something. Literally creating a Takeshita award just because I like him so much.
Takeshita award. I even that's what I'm saying. Like Dynamite match of the year. Like he's got a couple of Takeshita's awesome.
He is awesome.
Love Takeshita so much. Takeshita's had an indie show here,
and that's with no character, no angle or anything.
No,
just watching him wrestle.
Yeah, I don't.
He's awesome.
I don't even think he has much of a character.
He
So
doesn't.
if he ever comes to an indie show in Toronto, I'll like empty my bank account.
That would be fun.
Because Takeshita is the best.
He is awesome.
So that's pretty cool. That is it for me as well.
All right. Well, so we're gonna again change the program slightly here. We will get to Dynamite, but it'll be a bit later because we're going to
change the narrative.
No.
Control the narrative.
Oh my god, I tried to watch some of that. It's awful. But anyways, we are going to first take a look at a pay-per-view that was a week from today, and that is ROH's Death Before Dishonor. All right, so you at least watched a decent portion of this, maybe almost half of the show?
I remember
some. My notes might help you.
Half watched a match. I didn't really watch another match.
You watched the main event twice?
I watched the main event twice, and I watched the opener.
Not to spoil your thoughts on it, but you probably liked it if you watched it twice. But anyways, so the opening thing is 0 Hour, and I'm just going to basically go results here.
It's basically their buy-in.
It is.
I kind of find it interesting like that they have their own name for it too. Like, it's at least a little more interesting because there's just like a pre-show or a kickoff, which is kind of. So I don't mind that they kind of have their own names for it.
My favorite jobber, Anthony Henry, faced Colt Cabana in the opener. I thought it was an enjoyable enough match.
I'll pull up the predictions while you're doing that.
About a 10-minute match. Good enough for the pre-show. The crowd really likes Cabana for some reason. I thought Henry looked pretty good, showcased
Colt
quickness.
Cabana was a Ring of Honor guy, right?
Yes, technical ability and good heel work, I thought, in this. They let him work heel a little bit more clearly in this.
Still with JD Drake?
He is. I think they showed Drake backstage for some reason. I can't remember, but I think they are still together, yes.
All right.
I actually thought this showcased Henry a bit more than Cabana, but and I like that kid, so I thought this was okay. There was a hype package for Briscoe's FTR2. You did, eh? Eli Isom and Cheeseburger took on the Trust Busters, he's now, I told you, it's Ari Daivari and Slim J, who I've never heard of Slim J before.
I saw a picture of him when they're advertising Dark. He looks so indie.
I put that he seems to have borrowed Matt Hardy's pants from 2000. He was wearing like the super baggy Hardy Boys pants. And Ari Daivari now, so his basic thing is like he's a wealthy crypto millionaire or whatever, I think is the idea. So Slim J had some cool moves for sure. There was like a wheelbarrow into a flatliner that I liked. A tornado butterfly suplex he did to Cheeseburger looked pretty cool. But anyways, we got a cutter by Slim J to Isom, followed by a twisting high cross and a top rope splash from Daivari. And actually the Trust Busters picked up the win here in 5.5 minutes. I don't think I picked that one. I did not pick the Trust Busters. So I thought the match...
I didn't either.
It was okay. It kind of felt like a bit of an indie filler match, right? Just a quick 5-minute. I was surprised by the outcome, but I think they're trying to establish the Trust Busters as an actual tag team. I thought Eli Isom looked pretty good. He's a guy I quite liked watching Ring of Honor. So he looked good even in defeat here. And Slim J, despite never seeing him, he had some pretty cool looking offense. So that was okay. And this was a weird thing. All of a sudden, so Tully Blanchard Enterprises, right? He's been accumulating all of this talent. Who's he got? He's got Cage, he's got Gresham, and then...
Gates of Agony.
Right, which is Khan and I forget the other guy's name.
Toa Noah.
Right. So suddenly he's gone. And Prince Nana, who you didn't know, but he's been around in ROH forever.
Did Tully do something bad?
Prince Nana has just purchased, quote unquote, Tully Blanchard Enterprises. So he has all of these people now. Tully's just gone. I still have not heard any explanation of where he is. But anyways, so then we do get the team of Tully Blanchard Enterprises, even though it's not his group anymore. So that's Khan, you're right, Toa Lanoa, and Brian Cage, taking on Tony Deppen, Alex Zane, and Blake Christian. Sort of a super indie team. These are all really excellent indie guys just thrown onto a team for the purpose of this show, I guess. So it ends up with... It has some good action for sure, and I like the contrast in styles because you've got kind of the powerhouse team of Khan and Lanoa taking on all of these really flippy sort of independent type guys. So who won here? The Embassy, as they called by the ring announcer, so I don't know if they're going back to that name, but it was basically a string of power moves, and I think it was like a boot into a Dominator was like the finisher. So the heels end up winning here in 11.5 minutes. Some good action for sure. Nana's group is being described, which I kind of liked, as that Nana signed them all because they're coachable monsters, like all of these big dudes that he can actually work with, right? So I thought Lanoa was believable as a beast here. He was kind of sold as the big monster, whereas Khan was trying to look a little bit more like he could wrestle. Nothing special. I don't think any one performer looked great, but it makes sense, I guess. Then we got Willow Nightingale, Allison Kay. I thought the weakest match on the 0-hour show. It still wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. We got a boot and a pounce by Willow. An awkward corner spear leads to a gut wrench power bomb. So what's that? The doctor bomb?
Or like this first swagger bomb.
Which is impressive because Allison Kay is not a small woman, right? So Willow hit that pretty nicely and wins under 8 minutes. So I didn't love this. I felt like it was kind of a match in 3/4 speed. Not a lot of pace to it. Not sure the chemistry was great, but solid enough back and forth. The power bomb was impressive. Willow has really good charisma, and the crowd really connects with her. So I think she needs to get a bit more time. But anyways, so now we head into the actual main show, right? So the opening match, quite surprising, was Claudio Castagnoli challenging Jonathan Gresham
on the results. So then I thought like, oh, the show's over already. And
right.
For a while, I legitimately had no clue this was the opener until like I saw like I can't remember how I saw it, but then I saw it and I was like, what? I legitimately had no idea for a while.
So Claudio challenging Jonathan Gresham for the Ring of Honor World Title.
Castagnoli.
We get lots of holds and counters to start, but in a good way. Sometimes I don't like it, but if it's two talented people who have a lot of variety in their moves, then I'm fine with it, right? We get the big swing really early in this, and they went with a cool like bird's eye view for the replay that looked good. Gresham's going after Claudio's legs with various holds here. We get an outside-in deadlift gut wrench suplex by Claudio. It wasn't perfect, but that would be a hard thing to do anyways. So it's fine. I think it's fine if they struggle a little bit when they're trying to do something impressive, right? It doesn't bother me that much. Claudio catches Gresham out of the air, hits a backbreaker for 2. Sharpshooter attempt is abandoned by Claudio. He hits a double stomp instead. Missile dropkick off the second rope and an ankle lock by Gresham to stop Claudio's momentum. Gresham chops and taunts Claudio, but Claudio just fires up and drops Gresham with a stiff European uppercut. Claudio then targets Gresham's neck, applies a torture rack, but his legs are sort of giving out after all of the attacks to his legs here. We get a flurry of offense from Gresham with multiple near falls, but Claudio eventually connects with a pop-up European forearm. Really good pace to this sequence, especially the pop-up forearm always looks good, I think.
That was an uppercut.
Uppercut. We get some awesome chants at this point. Claudio rains down elbow strikes, picks Gresham up, and just hits the Ricola bomb, right? And becomes the ROH World Champion in like under 12 minutes. So I thought it was a good match for sure, but not what I expected. A lot shorter than I expected.
Like I thought it was good.
It was good,
but I found it underwhelming me a lot.
I expected better, you're right.
And like it was good, but I also find myself like kind of struggling to remember a lot about it.
Yes, there wasn't a ton of memorable stuff.
Exactly. Like it like I keep saying it was good, but like it wasn't bad. It wasn't what I think it should have been.
To me, it felt like it was just kind of getting into gear and then it was over, right?
It felt like the building blocks of like a great match, kind of like what they do in the early going to the main event.
But it needed another 10 minutes.
But then they didn't do that. Exactly.
Yes.
Agreed.
So lots of technical skill on display, no doubt. But again, no Gresham heel work here, right?
No.
All of a sudden,
you can't tell the difference between this and face Gresham.
No, there was no difference here. So it's almost like they dropped that story when they cut Tully or whatever happened.
Which I'm okay. I mean, I don't think it really matters now, but.
And the way they booked this, you can see why this wasn't the main event, right? You can't have an 11-minute championship match for the main event. So I don't get the point of Gresham's sudden heel turn, right? Because he worked a clean match here and even shook hands with his opponent afterwards. So I was a bit disconnected there.
Code of honor.
So like you're saying, I'm not saying this was bad, but I was hoping for like a 20-minute plus masterpiece, and I didn't get that, right? I got a good match for sure, a good opener. And again, Gresham was unhappy based on this booking, I think, which you can understand, right? Daniel Garcia talks to Lexi backstage.
Lexi Nair.
You must have given me the name.
Naire.
So for him, he says being a sports entertainer is more important than champion, which we'll talk about his character. They need to make up their mind with him, right?
Yeah, I don't like it.
He says he's taking the title to take it back to JAS and destroy it. It's not even that he wants the pure title as a sports entertainer. It's that he just wants to take it and get rid of it, basically. We then get a 6-man tag team title match, which I'd forgot that there were these titles, which is weird.
Me too.
Because
honestly, like you could not. If you had just told me like anyone was if you told me Shane Taylor and his guys still had it, I would have believed you.
That's what I'm saying though, because I used to watch the show and review it, and I really liked Shane Taylor Promotions.
Wait,
right?
didn't he have Khan, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Khan is in a new faction, right? But if you told me that him and Shane Taylor still had it,
okay.
I would believe you. I wouldn't give the second thought.
Like, I reviewed the show and liked the champions at one point, and still forgot. So it's the Righteous who have the titles now. Didn't even remember they had it. And
also, I'd like to say that Ring of Honor's got another thing they got to make up their mind on the titles, because like I like that they have like it's kind of cool that they have the old like a world title and the tag titles and the pure title, but then like the women's title and the television title and the 6-man tag titles are all like the modernized designs, and it's like I like both, but you gotta pick one. Like I don't like having like this really like plain and like older world title, which it's not a bad look. I don't dislike it. It's just I don't like it in contrast to like you have the television title, which also pretty nice looking, but it's like way modern look. So it's like there's a disconnect there. And
either you're modern or you're retro. Figure it out.
Right, and like I think the tag titles are really cool. I think I like those better, but like again, make up your mind.
Right. So this is the Righteous taking on Dalton Castle and the boys. So he always has these boys that escort him, right? And I didn't know if they could wrestle or not. I don't think I've seen them wrestle before. I think I've seen them like get involved in a couple spots.
They did mention that they were true champions before, so
right.
I think.
That makes sense.
Just like I guess not seen it.
So this going into this, easily the match I'm least interested in. Right? They took a long time to announce this was even going to happen. Right? So Dalton Castle and Vincent start. Castle ends up on the floor, and the boys run over to fan him, right? Because they're basically servants of Dalton Castle. Dalton Castle's kind of cool. I enjoy him. Castle suplexes Bateman. So the Righteous is Vincent, Bateman, and Dutch, who's a big guy, right? So the boys come in for a little bit, but eventually
kind of look like Andy Serkis.
Run over by Dutch. He's a pretty generic big man looking guy. I thought he looked good in this though. Dutch throws one of the boys, tags Vincent. Get a Saito suplex by Vincent as the heels isolate whichever boy it is. I can't
one of them was
keep
Brett.
track.
It might have been
Brad or Brent or Brandon. Brandon was one.
Yeah,
almost positive.
I think it was Brett or Brent. And then the other one was Brett or Brent.
And I noticed that at this point the crowd energy is pretty low. Bateman comes in, lands a twisting neck breaker for a 2 count.
Twisting naked.
We get a hot tag to Dalton Castle. He cleans house before a short DDT to Bateman and suplexes for Vincent and Bateman. Dalton tosses the boys onto the heels repeatedly, like for a really long time. I wasn't into it. The crowd seemed to like it, but he must have thrown these kids like 15 times onto.
It was fine at first, and it was just like, oh my god, you're still going.
Still going.
I think I actually did see this match.
Feels like you did.
I forgot that I saw this.
So match. Vita Von Star, who comes with the Righteous, she gets on the apron as Dalton and the boys set up for something. The Righteous end up attacking them from behind.
Set something on someone.
Von Star then Dutch dive over the top onto the floor. They triple team one of the boys. It ends up in Dutch power bombing him and Vincent senton, but Dalton Castle shows up to break up the pin.
It's kind of weird that Vincent just like because I know he's been doing the Honor No More thing, and now he's just like
shows up there like, oh crap, you have one of our championships. Can you do this show quick and lose them so we could move on?
And it's like totally different too. Like the whole Righteous thing is like I don't know, like I guess he's still kind of that.
It's like a culty type of thing.
In the Honor No More, but like it's like they're just kind of invaders. So like I feel like they're all kind of like they all look different, but they're kind of defined to or like
their common thread is that they were all like cut from Ring of Honor, basically. So they're all varying people that were fired at the same time.
They have different gimmicks, but they're all kind of constrained to the same gimmick at the same time.
Right.
So they are the same, but also not.
Right. Bossman slam by Dutch to Brandon, but Castle hits a German suplex to Dutch right away. Bateman comes in, tries to attack Castle, but Castle hits the bangarang and pins Bateman after about 9.5 minutes. So I definitely don't think they needed this on the show, but I would have to say
could have given this time to the opener.
Right. Yes. Good point. It kind of over-delivered for me. It was fun, right? It was like the fun match of the show. A little bit of silliness involved. The first half was kind of ordinary. I thought things picked up near the end, got a little more entertaining. Again, it makes sense to get the titles off Vincent since he works for another company right now. I like Dalton Castle a lot. I'm interested to see where this goes. It's just because I guess it's like, this company's supposed to be serious about wrestling, right? Like reality, but they basically have like a comedy trio with their 6-man, with their trios belts there, right? So we'll see where that goes. We then get the pure title matchup, which is Daniel Garcia taking on Wheeler Yuta. So if you don't know, pure rules are basically you get 3 rope breaks and that's it. And after that, There are no more rope breaks. You get one closed fist.
I really like the one promo that Garcia did where he was like, I think it was last week, he was like talking about the Pures. He's like, why would you want more? Like, have you ever watched sports and where you think, oh, I want more rules? I thought that was funny.
And you get judges, right? So there's 3 judges, which are Ace Steele, John Walters, and Josh Woods.
Josh Woods, I wonder if he's doing anything recently.
No, nothing, right? And they point out that actually it was Wheeler Yuta who defeated Woods for
right,
this
which
title.
Was the last pay-per-view.
So they're wondering, like, should Josh Woods really be a judge? He's got, like, you know, maybe an axe to grind with Yuta. But anyways, I was looking forward to this match for sure. Just a couple young technicians, right? Hopefully given some time to see what they can do.
Yep, technical wrestler versus the best technical sports entertainer.
That is what he says.
I love that line.
Early back suplex by Yuta. Then we go into a more technical start to nobody's surprise with these two. Some straight jackets with reversals. Garcia tosses
they
Yuta.
Went back and forth in that. I remember seeing like the beginning of this match and then like something like crapped out and then I don't think I finished it.
Garcia tosses Yuta to the floor before running him into the barricade twice. Body slam and a senton by Yuta. The crowd again is not super into this so far yet. It was a little bit different from most hot AEW crowds, it felt to me. Yuta with 2 more German suplexes. Garcia is now biting Yuta to escape a hold, and then he's grinding his forearm across the same ear that he was just biting. 10 minutes in, I made a note here, and none of the pure rules have come into play. And actually, as I was typing that sentence, I promise you, Caprice Coleman actually pointed it out as I was writing that very note. Double clothesline, both men are down. Crowd is now trying to rally and get into this match. Huge slap exchange. Garcia's down, struggles to get up and takes an immediate German for a 2 count. They're trading 12-6 elbow strikes now. Garcia locks in a chokehold. Suplex exchange and a crossface by Wheeler Yuta. Sharpshooter by Garcia countered into a bully choke by Yuta, like a nod to sort of working with Moxley, I guess, which is kind of a cool touch. Countered into a regal stretch by Garcia. I thought that was a nice touch too. Boston Crab, they call it a lion tamer, right? Saying that he's learning from his mentor as well as Yuta's learning from his. So Garcia uses his first rope break. It's actually Yuta that puts on the lion tamer there to sort of mock Garcia. So we get 1 rope break in this Pure Rules match. Pile driver by Garcia for a near fall. Garcia lands some stomps. Yuta counters with a roll up. I think it was the seatbelt again, possibly. And Yuta picks up the win, defends the Pure Championship after about 16 minutes. A very good technical match. I find a lot of people like this more than I did. Not to say I didn't like it. But I found myself feeling like this could have risen to another level as well. Like Mox Wheeler Yuta was amazing, right? And I was hoping for something approaching that. I know that's a lot to ask because Moxley's an amazing veteran performer.
Pure, so it's a little different.
But that's my next point, right? The match type had 0 bearing on this match, and that disappointed me. Like, since his gimmick,
if you're going to use that, at least use it.
Right, and if his gimmick is sports entertainment, I thought there'd be an opportunity for Garcia to try and circumvent these Pure Rules, right? Like try and get in an extra rope break or an extra closed fist or something. But they did nothing. They played this straight the entire time. We had 1 rope break. It didn't feel like Pure Rules at all. So they did not do a good job. If they picked up any new viewers to this pay-per-view or like AEW people checking out,
they wouldn't understand.
Right, they're not not getting the feel of the Pure Rules, right? A good but not great match, I thought. Didn't live up to my high expectations. Then we get one of my favorite matches on this card. I'm just going to say it, and that is Brothers Be Fightin'. Roosh taking on Dragon Lee. So I am a big fan of both of these guys, especially.
This is the one that it was on when I was present, but I can't really say I watched.
And there was no real build to this, right? It was just they put these two on this card pretty late.
Match on the main card.
But this was one of the matches that really interested me just because I know both of these guys. Love Dragon Lee especially, but big fan of Roosh as well. So we get slaps to the chest by Roosh, leading to some mat wrestling early on. Shoulder tackles to sort of a stalemate, leads to kicks by Dragon Lee, but a big forearm from Roosh levels his younger brother. Slingshot kick to the head of a seated Roosh. And that's a storyline that comes up in this that's part of what made me love this. The simple story of the bigger brother just sort of taking it to the little brother, right? And not letting him sort of get his shine. I kind of like that story. Shotgun dropkick sends Dragon Lee to the floor. Roosh follows up with a flipping senton to the outside. Taunting kicks by Roosh as he teases the bull's horns before landing one more mocking kick. Lee charges at him, but Roosh hits that nice scoop power slam that he does. Head scissor takedown, huge flipping senton to the floor. Lee puts Roosh on a table, heads back to the ring. This was a crazy spot. Launches himself like a missile into his brother and through the table. Like, it wasn't perfect. I think Dragon Lee was a little bit short hitting it, but it still looked amazing, and the table exploded.
You
You did. We get a coup de grace by Dragon Lee for a 2 count. Ushigoroshi punt kick by Lee, but Roosh just sits up. Forearm exchange, slap exchange, pump kick by Lee, German suplex by each man. Both are down. Outside in suplex by Roosh for 2. Another chop exchange on the apron. Then a kick and a knee before Roosh belly to belly release suplexes his brother from the apron to the floor, which was pretty crazy as well. Roosh takes a moment to taunt a fan because he is the heeliest of heels, this fellow Roosh. And Dragon Lee, mostly, it wasn't perfect, hits an inside-out Frankensteiner to the floor, which is a pretty ambitious maneuver as well. And both men just beat the count. They quickly show respect to each other and then go back to chopping each other. Lee runs at Roosh. Roosh catches him with the belly-to-belly overhead suplex that leaves Lee in the corner. We get a really nice bull's horns, but Dragon Lee somehow kicks out. They're both up top a bit later. Roosh slips, takes a double stomp from the top for a 1 count, though. Huge Liger bomb from Dragon Lee for a 2 count. He hits his incineration kick, one of his signature moves, for a 2 count as well. Roosh can't stand. And this, I like this too, right? This is the story of the younger brother, just for a moment, goes to check on his older brother. Roosh is on the mat, can't get up. Ref's kind of coming over to check. So Dragon Lee, in a moment of weakness, comes over to check on Big Brother. He gets up, super kick, forearm strike, bull's horns. Roosh picks up the win, and it's over. And I love this match. It was my match of the night to this point. Not by the end of the night,
No.
but to this point. This felt more intense and personal to me than the Garcia-Yuta match that had been built much more than this. I'll throw in the Gresham-Claudio. Like, I preferred this match to both of those. Two brothers just trying to one-up each other is just a really simple story that worked. And Roosh resorting to shenanigans because he's just the quintessential heel. He will cheat to beat his own brother. He'll cheat when he doesn't have to cheat just because that's his brand, right? So I love it. Both guys showcase the ability to work any style, right? You want to strike, fine. You want to high fly, fine. Whatever you want to do, these guys can do it. Great intensity throughout. Simple story. Roosh is the overconfident, obnoxious older brother. Awesome. Amazing pace. Couple cool high spots. I really like the finish. Again, taking in that sort of moment of weakness by the younger brother. Great match, and I would love for them to bring in Dragon Lee. Part of the faction with Roosh and Andrade he'd be a great third for that group.
That'd be cool. And then I don't know. I'd rather be like, well, if you're gonna do the faction and go Bernabla, you kind of need it to be a faction, not a tag team
right.
with Jose.
And they just cheat and cheat and cheat, even when they don't have to. They just constantly cheat. Great match. Hype video for the Deeb Martinez match that I thought was pretty good. But again, I thought this should have been used on AEW TV. Why are you promoting the match when people have already paid for it? You know what I mean? You should
want to make people pay for it.
Right, not you've got them already.
Right.
Use these slick little packages on your TV shows to promote this. But we do get Serena Deeb versus Mercedes Martinez for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship with Mercedes defending it. Holds and counters early on, shoulder tackle and arm drag, right into an arm bar from Deeb because she is awesome and just transitions things so nicely. Spine buster by Martinez. High kick and a hesitation drop kick to Deeb in the corner. Death Valley driver on the apron escaped by Deeb, and she spears Martinez. Flipping stunner out of the corner by Deeb for 2. Half and half suplex by Martinez. Both are up top. Dragon sleeper by Martinez. Deeb escapes, lands a kick to Martinez in the Tree of Woe. Deeb follows up with a shotgun drop kick to the hanging Martinez. Abdominal stretch transitioned into, I think it was like a standing Deeb tox. Looked pretty crazy, but Martinez ends up powering out. Some sort of unique chokehold applied by Martinez that I liked as well. Kick exchange while they're both seated. Both are down now. Sliding knee strike to Deeb, and both are struggling to their feet. Spider German by Martinez, and Deeb lands really high. I like that Spider German every time. Deeb bites Martinez's arm to escape a finishing submission. TKO countered into a spinning neckbreaker from Deeb. Tornado DDT into the Serenity Lock, but Martinez rolls through for a 2 count. Deeb smashes Martinez's knee into the mat repeatedly. Martinez rolls through again and sends Deeb into the turnbuckles. Super kick and a weak-looking, not her best OG drop from Martinez, but Deeb ends up kicking out. Martinez then locks in her surfboard dragon sleeper that does look pretty cool, and unfortunately, not that I don't like Martinez, but I like Deeb better, Serena Deeb submits after 17 minutes, and Mercedes Martinez retains the title. Did you watch this one? I can't remember.
Half watched it, but I don't really remember much.
I really liked this match. I thought it was pretty awesome. I probably enjoyed the Lee Roosh match more, but to this point. But outside of that, like the pace wasn't fast on this, but it was steady, and it was just like high impact offense, cool submissions and counters. Commentary kind of, I thought, helped by explaining the pace, saying that Mercedes Martinez was being deliberate because of the incredible countering ability of Deeb, right? So like she needs to take her time and make sure she's not making mistakes, or Deeb's going to capitalize. And I like that a lot. This match got a lot of time. They never had to rush. They executed a lot of cool offense in a really highly competitive match. Obviously, I was hoping for Deeb to win, but I like Martinez too. And that's leaving Deeb, for me, open to win an AEW singles title because
take it from Rosa.
She's awesome and needs something.
I mean, that's almost like a blessing in disguise because I feel like Rose is like, or Martinez is a stronger champion on her own. Then like I feel like it's more necessary to take the title from Rosa.
I agree at this point, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But Deeb, to me, does what Rosa doesn't do, which is consistently put on some of the best women's matches and elevate other people across several companies,
which is what
right?
Rosa should be doing.
Correct. So I thought this was an excellent championship pay-per-view match. One of my favorite AEW women's matches in a while, for sure. Really liked it.
Ring of Honor.
I think I like this more than a lot of people did, and I like the Garcia Yuta less than a lot of people did, it seems, as I was seeing stuff. But that's to each his own, right? Hype video then focusing on Jay Lethal ahead of his match with Samoa Joe, and that is next Ring of Honor Television Championship match. Jay Lethal, Samoa Joe. Lethal attacks Joe as Joe's making his entrance. You get a drop kick by Lethal on the floor before Joe drops him with a hard chop. Clothesline exchange, Lethal's down on the floor. Lethal tries to ram Joe's head off the title, but Joe avoids it and lands another chop. 3 suicide dives by Lethal as Joe has still not entered the ring for the match to officially start, right? So there was a lot happening.
Yeah,
without
there's like
the
a bunch
belt.
going on. I was like, what? The match is just starting now?
Yeah, did not start for quite a while, which, I mean, that makes sense for a heel, right? Chop and a kick, Lethal ends up in a chair and then takes a running boot from Joe. Joe sets up to put Lethal through a table, but Satnam Singh makes an appearance and stops Joe. And again, this works because the match has not started, so Lethal can't be DQ'd at this point, right? So it makes sense for Singh to show up before the bell has rung. So Joe's arm is in a chair, run into the ring post. Lethal sends Joe into the ring so the match can actually start. So all of this was pre-match stuff. And the ref throws Satnam Singh out, sends him to the back as the bell rings. Lethal's targeting Joe's left arm. Corner back elbow enziguri by Joe. Lethal snaps Joe's arm across the ropes, hits a missile drop kick to that left shoulder. Chop exchange, and you can see the sweat flying as these guys are just really laying it into each other here. Drop kick by Lethal.
He showed the shaved look again, yeah.
He did. Super short hair. He stomps Joe's hand. Back elbow sends Lethal to the floor. Joe follows up with a suicide dive. The crowd at this point is chanting for Samoa Joe. We get a clothesline by Joe that turns Lethal inside out, but it only earns him a 1 count. Lethal goes back to that injured arm, but Joe catches him with a scoop power slam. Lethal combination after a slap exchange gets Lethal a 2 count. Lethal goes for a muscle buster, but settles for a drop kick instead. Leg lariat off the ropes by Joe for 2. Lethal escapes a muscle buster attempt. Hits a Lethal injection for a near fall. ST out of the corner by Joe.
I thought Joe kind of looked dumb standing there for a second, like he's just like trying to look staggered, but I don't know.
Yes.
I feel like sometimes like the Lethal injection's a little like, I don't know. It's kind of like
it's a cool combination, but they have to wait to get in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't help the opponent sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
He sets up for the muscle buster again, but Sanjay Dutt makes an appearance and distracts the ref, then allows Lethal to hit a belt shot to Joe, who somehow still manages to kick out. Lethal injection attempted again. This time it's countered into a choke, but then that's countered into a chin breaker. Joe counters another Lethal injection and this time gets in the coquina clutch and wins this match after 12.5 minutes. Very good, hard-hitting match, I would say. Not amazing, but again, a very good match. All of the pre-match shenanigans allowed the heels to work without risk of DQ to soften up Joe, which makes sense. Makes it an even more impressive win for Joe because he got beaten on before the match started. Lots of physicality and near falls. I still preferred the women's match before this, but a bit of variety is totally fine. Still a very good match on this show. Then we get an FTR Briscoe video package that was cool before we get the main event, which is what everybody's here to watch. Let's be real. It is the Briscoes taking on FTR in a rematch of their, for me, probably match of the year at this point. So this time it's 2 out of 3 falls for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. I'm just going to see how many notes I have. Lots, because this is a 40-something minute match, but I will try and go quickly. So I think this was, first of all, the correct choice for the main event. You agree?
Absolutely.
Yes, right? So this was the main draw of the show for a lot of people,
I watched this, and then I thought you had already watched it, but you didn't watch it, so I got to watch it again.
You did.
I watched it twice. It was good.
Main draw on the show, FTR is one of the hottest acts in wrestling. I'm not even going to say tag team. It's just hottest act, right? Singles, tag team, whatever. They are over.
For sure.
Great to see them work a main event. I start out by saying my notes may be sparse because I want to immerse myself in this, but I do have a ton of notes.
Then you did the opposite.
Yeah. So a huge rematch, and I think it's the perfect stipulation, right? The 2 out of 3 falls is really gonna, separate people. I like
right.
this
I mean,
idea.
that's an area where FTR has excelled in the past.
Yeah, and it's just a simple stipulation that makes sense.
I enjoy
here.
locks. It allows from I like, and then it's also not like
I just have to not forget because sometimes I forget, and then on the first fall I'm like thinking it's
yeah.
over.
Imagine you thought Briscoe's won.
Yeah, like wow, that's a surprise.
I enjoy it because it allows for more time, like more stuff to do, and then it's also not as long or as drawn as an Iron Man match. Like it's not like a forced time limit or
having to wait for them to count to stand up or stuff like that.
Yeah, or like it's like I don't know, like with an Iron Man, like I don't know, there's only so many things you could do, and like either like you can see the finish coming like last 10 seconds because it's like either someone wins or there's a tie. Like on 2 or 3 falls, like again, like there's always the same tropes where it's either like you trade falls or like someone wins a fall and then you come back, or you could do 2-zip. I don't know. I feel like I like 2 or 3 falls as like a middle ground between having a standard match and an Iron Man match. Because an Iron Man match, you really got to commit to the whole thing. So
no, I like this. I thought it was the perfect stipulation. So we get a lengthy stare down by all 4 in the middle of the ring to start this. It's Mark Briscoe and Dax start out. Mark eventually hits the shoulder,
baldies.
A hard shoulder tackle, holds and counters before Dax ends up getting back with his own shoulder tackle. Cash tags in and controls Mark Briscoe on the mat for a bit. Japanese arm drag and a chop by Mark shifts the momentum as Dax and Jay tag back in. Jay and Dax go back and forth before we get a belly-to-back suplex by Jay for 2. Dax escapes to the floor and gets checked on by Medical briefly here. Cash back in, and he and Jay are nose-to-nose before a chop exchange. Shoulder tackle and Saito suplex by Cash. Briscoe's head to the floor to regroup, and we get Mark and Cash once we get back in the ring. So FTR on the offensive here. They isolate and double team Jay Briscoe for a little while. Suplex and a leg drop by Dax follows that. Mark's back in. He gets control of Cash with strikes and a blind tag before a double shoulder tackle to Wheeler. Briscoes isolate Cash and make frequent tags while taunting Dax. Dax finally gets in, cleans house, including multiple German suplexes to Jay Briscoe. Exchange of near falls on roll-ups. Both teams want that first fall. Cash runs over Mark with a big clothesline on the apron. Dax then counters a Jay Driller with a DDT for a 2 count. Doomsday Device, which was set up for a few times in this match. This one was successful to Dax. He's sent into the ring post, and the Briscoes earned the first fall of this match here. Dax then gets run into the barricade. His chest is bleeding, and this is when they announced 20 minutes has gone by, and I was surprised because it had just flown by for me. Like, this was already 20 minutes at this point. Back suplex by Dax. He needs to make a tag, but Jay takes out Cash. But that allows Dax to hit 2 Germans before placing Jay up on the top rope. We get an avalanche back suplex to Jay from there. Both men are down for a little while here. Mark pulls Cash to the floor, just as Dax is trying to make the tag, so he can't. Redneck boogie to Dax for 2. Dax escapes a chin lock and a chop exchange.
That was like the crucifix and the neck breaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yep. Chop exchange ensues before Dax finally makes a tag. I just scrolled too far in my notes. Wheeler on a roll with chops and suplexes before a big clothesline to Mark Briscoe. Nice brainbuster by Cash, stealing a page from his partner, right? It's usually Dax hitting the brainbuster. Gory special to Mark for 2 as Cash avoids another redneck boogie. The fight goes to the floor briefly before Cash hits a high cross, but takes a bell shot from Mark for a near fall. Froggy bow to Cash for a near fall as Dax makes the save. Mark gets flapjacked onto the steps, leaving Jay alone in the ring. Blind tag and a smash contraption to Jay, or the Big Rig as it's known, I guess. And the falls are even at 1 apiece here. Headbutt strike exchange between Cash and Mark as we restart the match. Uranagi suplex sends Cash into the corner and he tags Dax. Mark is now a bloody mess at this point, too. Apron exchange leads to a blockbuster to Dax on the floor. Vicious Dax piledriver to Mark Briscoe for 2. Jay ducks a punch and Dax accidentally takes out the ref. Jay Driller to Dax, but there is no ref to make the count. To nitpick, I didn't love FTR needing the referee out to not lose here. That's a detail I probably wouldn't have included to keep FTR strong.
Why can't they ever do like a ref bump where they still kick out?
Right. Yeah.
Also,
right.
everyone knew the ref was down. Why did they still pin him?
Right. So
like, they literally all watched the ref. Like, he's out.
I guess that's them giving the Briscoes a little something here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cash saves Dax from another Doomsday device. Jay springboards into a smash contraption. But again, the ref is still kind of groggy and is late getting there to make the cover, so Jay kicks out. Doomsday device to Dax, but Cash comes in to make the save on the pinfall. We get a botched kind of suplex to the floor, and Cash and Mark roll out of the ring. Jay and Dax sort of bare knuckle box before Dax lands a huge clothesline. Camel clutch by Jay, then one to Cash. I like this spot too, as FTR, each member is in a submission and they're holding each other's hands so
that's
that
like they did like DIY did.
Yes. So they
cause
can't tap out. They're each not letting the other tap out and sort of together fighting through these submission holds. I thought that was a really cool spot. Back suplex by Cash to Mark off the ropes through a table on the floor was pretty nuts. In the ring, we get a J Driller to Dax, but Dax kicks out. That's pretty impressive too, because that's a fairly protected move. Pile driver backwards off the second rope by Dax Harwood.
I like the way you pinned him. It was
and
really
he
cool.
pins Jay Briscoe, and FTR retain the titles in, I don't know, this was 40-something minutes.
Awesome.
Cash calls the Briscoes back to the ring so that they can shake hands. Dax swears a lot about loving pro wrestling and the fans, but you can tell, like, he is just in heaven at this point, right? He just had, like, the main event of a show, put on an incredible match, and he just loves wrestling. So he puts over the fans and pro wrestling. Cash says they all fought like 8-year-old girls, and Dax says wrestling saved his life. He'll see us on Dynamite. Top guys out. Regal, Claudio, and Yuta appear on the ramp and raise their titles sort of in recognition of FDR. So it's kind of like, here's all the people with the ROH titles out there, right?
Where's Joe or the boys? Or
right. Thoughts on this?
Where's the boys? I thought this was awesome.
Yeah, this is another classic.
I really like that. I didn't mean to watch it twice, but
and I like 45 minutes flew by, right? Like,
yeah,
does not feel like it.
Yeah, it was really done. I think 2-3 falls stipulation benefits a lot. They traded a lot of big moves. I don't know. It was a while. I watched it a while ago, but I don't know. It was fantastic. It was easily one of the best matches of the year. It's probably front running for me.
Ooh, I like the first one better, but
I
wouldn't.
This one was
like,
way
I wouldn't fight
better.
you on this. Really,
I remember the first one. I thought this one was done way better. I think they had way more time to do stuff. They did less. I thought, like, it was really done. I thought Dax was, like, he took up being like the
he's wrestler of the year right now,
when
buddy.
He got, like,
not even kidding.
I just thought it was so cool. Like, he's getting, like, the crap chopped out of him. Like, his chest is, like, bleeding. Like,
bleeding from the chest is rare.
Cool. Like, that's like, when does that ever happen? Like,
right.
You're just getting, like, cool. Crap chopped out of him. And then it's like, I thought the Briscoes were. I like some of their moves. Like, I thought Redneck Boogie was kind of cool.
It is cool.
I haven't seen that before.
That's been. Oh, they've had that for decades.
Yeah, I bet they have. I don't know. It's hard to talk specifics because it was a while ago, but it was really good. Like,
fully engaging, right?
Fantastic. Like, it was, yeah. You just, like, you get into it. Yeah. Like, a lot of great near falls. Like, the finish makes sense. Like, just, you had to kill him with a pile driver. I thought, like, awesome. The way he did the last pin too. Like, he was just exhausted. I thought it was fantastic. Like, you think Dax, like, might be injured at one point. Like,
and his post match promo was just, like, from the heart. Whether he was supposed to say that or not, I don't know, but it was amazing.
It was done perfect. I think it took everything that made that first match great, and it just kind of, like, ramped it up a little more.
Yep.
Gave them more time. Like, I think the time, it, like, you could say that was long, but I think it was totally warranted. Like, I think it was really great. Like, it was one of my favorite matches of the year. I really liked it. It definitely helps the show out a lot, even though I didn't see it. Like, I'm glad. This is the one I wanted to see. If I was gonna watch any match on the show, I would have watched this anyways.
So thankful for a company that respects tag team wrestling.
It's probably the hottest rematch of the year. So
yeah. So I didn't think it was quite at the level of their first match, but it's whatever. It's splitting hairs. Basically, both of them are amazing. The final 10 minutes or so of this were insane. The chemistry between these two teams is undeniable. These four guys killed each other for over 40 minutes. Another fantastic match. It kind of built as it went, right?
Exactly. Yes, that's another thing I like, because it's like, it's really, like, kind of slow and methodical at first. And, like, you just have, like, shoulder tackle exchanges or some hold and counters or, like, some strike exchanges. But I think it was perfect because, like, that's exactly how you want to build, like, an epic. That's how you go about it. And I think that even that was done to perfection as well, because you just have, like, this so crescendo and just gets better and better as you go.
Absolutely. So yeah, this was like 43 minutes, but I would watch if they're wrestling tomorrow. I'd be like, take my money. That's fine. I got no problem with that, right?
Great.
Match of the night by a decent margin, and I liked a lot of matches on this show, so that is saying something. fantastic main event, satisfied the crowd for sure as well. FTR are having an amazing 2022, and Dax is probably my front runner for Wrestler of the Year at this point.
I don't see anyone else really.
Like in ring, on the mic, this guy, I don't care. You can take away Marks because he's a tag team wrestler, which I think is silly, but people will. But like pound for pound, I don't know who's having a better year than this guy, right? So just a reminder of how amazing tag team wrestling can be. And if you're a WWE fan and only watching main roster, you don't know anymore. Right, although I will say, what was it, Usos and
Street Profits
was really
that's
good.
Not touching this either.
But no, that's not touching this.
And I did like that quite a bit for a main roster match.
Overall thoughts on this pay-per-view, really solid with an outstanding main event that lived up to the hype, which is pretty hard to do.
Yeah, I
right?
would say it definitely did. That's another thing we should say about it.
So
sure.
I was close to giving this show an A, I'm not going to lie, but for me, because I'm critical of WWE for it all the time, so I need to be consistent, and that is the builds weren't there for a lot of these matches, right? It was like,
I'd say they built the main event pretty
really,
well. Like,
yes,
that was the one I think they put in the best work.
But a lot of them were really, really quickly built, so I complained
the world
about that.
title match got like
right,
like that's Gresham's, like that's him passing the belt, and like there wasn't really much.
So I thought the first half of the pay-per-view was very solid, but the second half it picked up for me. So the main event was my match of the night. But I would go as far as to say I love two other matches as well, and that would be Roosh Dragon Lee and Martinez Deeb matches. I would recommend all three of those to go out and watch. I thought Lethal Joe was good, Gresham Claudio was good, and Garcia Yuta was also good, but they sort of failed to quite get to the level I thought they might. But still undeniable, really good matches. 6-man tag might have been the weakest on the card, but I thought it was still entertaining. So like top to bottom, an excellent show with no lulls. I think ROH, we say it all the time, needs its own show because AEW TV got bogged down a little bit building this show and promoting it.
Yeah, so they're
right?
making more of this without kind of affecting.
So even though on
AEW.
one hand I'm saying they didn't build the show very well, I'm still saying the build they did do was a bit annoying because it took over another show, basically, right? But this show delivered a lot of entertaining stuff, and I'm going to give it a B+. Again, not quite an A due to the lack of build for some of it, but no bad matches and one fantastic like match of the year contender. So super strong show. If that's what Ring of Honor is going to do on their pay-per-views, I am here for it. So great show.
To go over the picks.
Yes. How do we do?
I'll just go in order like the table over. So for the 0 hour, we both picked Tully's guys, so that's 1-1.
Yep.
Then we both picked Willows, so 2-2. We both picked the Trustbusters, one wrong, so that's
still 2-2.
2-2. And I'm up 1 with Colt Cabana, so I'm up 1 with 3-2. And then we got Roosh, so it's 4-3. Then we didn't pick the 6-man tag, so nothing. And also didn't pick Martinez. Then both picked Yuta, so 5-4. Then yeah,
you're up 1 still.
And then I'm up 2 with Joe Lethal because I picked Joe.
Nice. Smart.
And then we both get 1 for FTR, and then you pick Claudio, and I pick Gresham, so you get that.
So you win by 1.
6-5 me.
Congratulations. You're on a hot streak. I feel like I haven't won in a while.
Tally.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. What was the last one we did? Probably Money in the Bank.
I think you won that too.
I think I did.
You're on a hot streak.
I don't remember.
You have to get smarter.
Yeah. Summerslam.
That's right. Oh yeah, I haven't thought about those. I'll be doing those off the cuff a little bit. But...
I have thought about them.
Uh-oh. That couldn't be good for me. But anyways, let's move into a little bit of trivia in a segment we like to call Off the Top of His Head. All right, so off the top of his head today, what is my topic? The topic is, you don't know because I never tell you, but the topic is, I think it's non-wrestlers in wrestling as I score through my notes. It is wrestlers versus non-wrestlers. So we're going to see, I don't think this will be hard for you, but I'm curious to see. I'm going to give you hints and you're going to tell me the non-wrestler, okay?
All right.
You ready? So this was, she teamed with John Morrison and Trish Stratus. Snooki. So then I'll ask some details just to flesh it out a little. Who did they defeat?
Oh, wasn't it like Lay Cool and Ziggler?
It was Lay Cool and Ziggler.
Yeah.
All right. And then we're going to go with...
And Morrison's all pissy because he wanted that spot for Melina and not, I think, Stratus.
That's right. You're right. The Bar suffered major embarrassment at WrestleMania 34.
Oh, yeah, Nicholas Cohn.
Because Braun
Totally
Strowman...
random child.
Right. Braun Strowman pulled a mystery partner, ended up being filled by, what was his name?
Nicholas,
right? Who was, one of the sons of the referee in real life. So yeah, that one was easy.
They vacate the titles the next night. See, it's cool.
Right. So let's see. He competed in a pay-per-view main event against John Cena.
John Laurinaitis.
Correct. Very good.
Isn't that like over the limit? I think
It was over the limit. I don't know if it was. Was it over the limit?
Or is it? I don't know.
Yep, over the limit. 2012. You are correct. Heading into WrestleMania 27, this non-wrestler was one being pushed as like the top heel at the time.
Michael Cole.
Correct. So he faced who?
Lawler.
Right. Was there any stip on that match?
I
can't remember.
I don't know.
I can't remember. Triple H. He had some surprise defeats across his tenure in WWE. One of those was to this non-wrestler. And I can give you a hint if you like. I can give you his profession.
Sure.
He is a commentator.
Ross?
Yeah.
Really?
He lost to Jim Ross. Lost to him, too. Not only faced him, but lost to him. WrestleMania Night 2. This non-wrestler beat sometime wrestler Pat McAfee.
Oh, Vince.
Correct.
Oh, God, that was so bad.
It was so bad. Now retired.
That's the worst thing of the year. Oh, that's going in there.
So this wrestler, during an episode of Thunder, ended up teaming with DDP in order to take on Eric Bischoff and Jeff Jarrett with the world title on the line. And this person,
Arquette?
Correct, despite being least likely, was able to achieve that and win the title.
Because the stupid stipulation,
yes, a tag team match for a singles title. Genius.
Well, and it's I don't know, it's like whoever got the pin won the title. So even though he's on the team of the champion, he took the title from DDP.
Right. Despite not being a traditional wrestling match, the Big Show took on a
Akabono.
Correct.
In a sumo match at WrestleMania 21.
I knew this would be easy for you, but that's okay. It's designed for you to. Oh my God, the number one I forgot about. This article is arguing, and it's from the Sportster to give them credit, that a wrestler suffered the most embarrassing loss against a non-wrestler is John Cena, being beaten by. Do you remember who it was? Best known for being married to another celebrity.
Oh, Kevin Federline?
Correct.
Yeah.
He was super heel heat. Like he was just so reminded me of what's the Paul brother that's
Logan Paul
trying to be a face that can't possibly be a face. Okay, I think I've got a couple more. Do you know this one's old? 1976, Gorilla Monsoon faced a non-wrestler.
I have no idea.
Faced a famous boxer. Does that help you?
No.
From the 70s?
It's not Ali, so.
It is Ali.
Oh, it is Ali?
It is Muhammad Ali.
That's weird.
2001 Royal Rumble celebrity in there.
Oh, Drew Carey.
Correct. This one you'll know because it's very fresh in our minds. 1989 cross promotion for a Hulk Hogan movie.
All right.
Involved a tag team match involving a non-wrestler.
Zeus.
Correct.
Or whatever his real name is.
Was he ever a non-wrestler, eh?
Yeah.
Triple H and Shawn Michaels took on Chris Jericho and I think this was on an episode of Raw 2010. Yes. So coming off of WrestleMania 14.
Wait, 2010?
Yeah.
14?
I think so.
2010 would be WrestleMania 26.
Well, this person was previously involved in WrestleMania 14.
Oh, then Tyson.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I thought it was, but that clarifies.
Bam Bam Bigelow wrestled a football player.
Lawrence Taylor.
Correct. LT. And Big Show took on a boxer.
Floyd Mayweather.
Wow, these are too easy. Eh?
WrestleMania 24.
Yep. And then what was this? WrestleMania 1? Piper and Orndorff took on.
Oh, I wonder.
Hogan and
Mr. T.
Yeah, not a challenge this week for you, eh? You're
No.
too smart, too easy. You didn't stumble on. Well, there's one or two you didn't know.
The Ali one.
Right. How dare you? You think you know wrestling, but you don't. But anyways, great job. So we're going to switch back, and actually it's weird to do it after Off the Top of His Head, but now we're going to take a look at this week's episode of AEW Dynamite, which was what? Fight for the Fallen. Yes, nailed it.
And oddly enough, we open with Jon Moxley defending the AEW Interim World Title against Roosh, which I
Bit surprising.
thought that would be the main event.
Right. Yeah, it could have been, to be honest.
I thought it would.
I think it's one of those they know,
title match.
It's not changing hands, but
I knew that Brody King wasn't that a main event.
yeah, that's a very good point.
And
then last week even, right?
No,
2 weeks? I forget.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because last week was barbed wire everywhere.
Oh, that's right.
And then the week before that was the tag title 3-way.
Right. So yeah, this was a bit of a surprise. I didn't even know that it was happening, so I was surprised.
Didn't I tell you?
Maybe just before, I think. Anyways.
I don't even know if I did.
You tell me a lot of things, and I'm old, so who knows
true.
what I remember.
Yeah, so I thought it was an odd twist for the opener. I would have expected this to main event, so maybe Danielson is main eventing.
I think you're right.
I was right.
You were right.
Some notables. Roosh attacked Mox right away, takes him outside, throws him in the barricade.
That is Roosh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Cheater. Such a cheater.
Couple of fast corner splashes in opposite corners and a basement dropkick to the back by Roosh.
You all right?
Something in my teeth. There we go. Suicide dive by Mox and Roosh in the barricade, pretty good. I thought that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Chop exchange, and Roosh hits a super kick, sending Mox on the ropes, and off a rebound hits a scoop slam for 2. Roosh chokes Mox with one of the cables on the outside.
And Roosh, pretty much every match I watched in Ring of Honor with Roosh, that's one of his moves, is he chokes you. Because at that time, I remember I told you he was the champion. So that was one of the moves where the ref just wouldn't DQ him because they know his opponent doesn't want to win by DQ, right? So if you're so Roosh takes full advantage of that because he's evil.
Although with this, I guess he would just lose the title shot.
So this one, I thought it was weird because the ref just gave him a 5 count, right? Which I thought was an interesting strategy for that. It was just like if you were doing something to him in the ropes, he just sort of counted it off.
Cable is not unlike a rope,
I guess.
Especially if it's a ring rope. Those are probably cables.
They are.
There's a strike exchange, and then Roosh hit a German suplex. Then Mox came back with a German suplex of his own. Then Roosh comes back with a rolling elbow. Mox hits a lariat, so a bit of an exchange. Roosh hits the belly in the corner like the last match.
Yeah, the overhead release.
Yeah. Jose provides a distraction that allows Andrade to come and shove Mox off top rope, and he gets crotched on the top rope. And then Andrade is chased away by Lucha Bros. There's a straight jacket pile driver by Roosh for 2.
That was pretty cool.
Like a Ricola bomb, but a pile driver.
Right.
So that's cool. The finish comes with Mox at the paradigm shift, but only results in near fall, so he transitions into a sleeper hold, which he moves into the bulldog choke, and he chokes Roosh out.
Did Roosh tap or did he pass out? I can't remember.
I have no clue.
I put you on the spot there.
I have no clue.
I don't remember either.
Then after Jazz come out, because that's what I was asking for.
Right, that's what we all wanted.
Yep. Parker shouts to cut the music and insults the town, tells the AEW Galaxy to appreciate them. Jericho says he had to come out and congratulate Mox, and it was an amazing match. He says Mox has done a great job as champion. He's been on a roll, but it's nothing compared to the role Jazz has been on. He mentions Garcia versus Danielson in the main event. He says Garcia will finish what he started and kick Danielson's head in. He says Guevara will annihilate Dante Martin later tonight as well. And Jericho says Anna Jay called. So to address the Anna Jay situation, he says Anna Jay called him last week, and she took an opportunity. Then Anna Jay speaks.
Yeah, amazing, great choice.
Anna Jay says this is a new Anna Jay. She says a bunch of stuff, but it's really bad, so I didn't note it. If you want to watch it, just shoot your.
She said things.
Just shoot your ears and.
Did you get her new nickname though?
Anna Jas.
Mm-hmm.
That was her worst line.
Mm-hmm.
Anna Jas. Haha. Get it? Do you get it, everyone?
I do get it.
Does everyone understand?
It's
the
hilarious.
Joke there? Isn't it? Why is no one laughing? I don't
Maybe
hear
they
laughing.
are. I'll insert the kids laughing.
Yeah, everyone should be laughing right now. Jericho talks about last week's match, and he says he will beat Mox, and after he should painmaker Mox. Then that'll get him a win when he shouldn't win.
Right?
And after 2.5 years, he wants to rematch for the title at Quake by the Lake. I like that name. That's funny. It's funny.
You like the rhyming?
In 2 weeks. I don't. It's like I don't know where it is, but it's notorious for lakes. That could be. You could do Quake by the Lake in Toronto or something.
You definitely could.
Exactly. So it doesn't really mean anything. But anyways, Mox says God he hates Jericho and he hates the sports entertainment BS they're doing right now. Mox is the 2-time champion. I don't know. Does that count? That he's a 2-time champion because it's just the interim title.
I think so. It's not his fault. He won what title was available to him. I don't know.
It's still the world title, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess you could argue that. He says it's sad he used to look up to Jericho, probably because he was a kid when Jericho was wrestling, so that's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Or you'd look up at the TV.
Literally look up?
Yeah. So it kind of makes sense. In his own way, he is the GOAT, but all the inner circle and Jazz BS he has been doing is pathetic. Also, I'd like to think that she's not Anna JAS, she's Anna J Ass.
Yeah, I guess.
Mox says this is the championship in pro wrestling. No, this is the interim championship in pro wrestling, because they always like to say the AEW title is the championship in pro wrestling, which I think is fair, but this is the interim one, so it's the interim championship in professional wrestling.
It is.
And he
says
the
interim.
Yes. He says he doesn't want the Wizard or Le Champion or the King of Trademarks, which I thought was funny. He wants the guy he looked up to. He wants the Lionheart. He says on his terms, or Jericho's terms, because Jericho said Quake by the Lake, and that's what's happening. Although Jericho's facing Yuta next week for the title shot, so he's playing the title shot alone against Yuta, which I think is odd.
Weird.
But because some Rampage thing.
Right.
He got coaxed into it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't see Yuta winning that, but
me either.
All right. He says it'll be John Moxley versus Last Survivor, the Heart Dungeon, Lionheart. Sure, that's definitely who he is now. He's not in worse shape or anything. He's not older.
Same guy.
Definitely. What did you think about all the stuff?
Match-wise, I thought a really good TV match, really physical match. And if you're not familiar with Roosh, this man is a star. And in my opinion, AEW has added another top caliber performer, specifically a heel, an amazing heel. Very entertaining physical matchup. I'm glad the interference was kept to a minimum. Obviously, Roosh was never winning this.
Did Roosh debut at Double or Nothing or Forbidden Door? I want to say it's Double or Nothing.
No. Oh, yeah, maybe. I can't remember.
I don't know either. I was just thinking about that.
I thought Roosh gained a lot from this just in exposure and seeing him competitive against the champion, because this guy, really good mixture of power, technical ability, speed, lucha, really good heel work. I find he has a lot of charisma. Like there's something about him. Really liked the match. Thought it was an excellent opener and a really strong TV match. The promo afterward didn't do a lot for me. I didn't think Anna Jay sounded good. Neither did you, obviously. Her new nickname is Lame. I don't really have a ton of interest in Jericho Mox at this point.
No, that's
we've
one
seen
of the
it
things
before.
I was like,
and this is not peak Jericho anymore.
I'm good at I was perfectly fine with leaving. I thought it was well done. When Mox got the title the first time, because I thought that was all I needed to be him passing the title. But
there's dozens of people I would prefer get that shot to Jericho at this point, right? And also, man, calling Jericho different names like Painmaker and Lionheart doesn't make him more interesting for me. You can call him by whatever moniker you want. It's still 50-year-old Chris Jericho, right? I thought Mox's reply was fine, but this whole post-match segment was way longer than it needed to be, I thought. And the Anna Jay part seemed kind of well, we have to explain this somehow, so go ahead. And I was not big fan of the match, not a fan of the post-match stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was a great opener. So I was surprised at the start of the show, but I think it was a great way to do so. I enjoyed Roosh a lot. He definitely makes for a great heel. I like some of the things he did here. I think they worked really well opposite each other, actually.
Yeah, they did.
Strike exchanges and whatnot. The back and forth were really good. Like you said, I never really expected Roosh to win, but I thought he still did a good job. I don't think that's the be-all, end-all.
No, I think it was to get him some attention and exposure,
which I
right?
think is, that's a good tactic, and I think that was a good way to do so, because I like this a lot. As far as AEW TV goes, it's the best I've seen him so far.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like this better than the Penta match.
Yep,
Aftermath was standard. It was whatever. It was too long, like you said. I think I agree. Jericho cut a fine promo, I guess. I think Mox was pretty good. I'm not super thrilled on the Mox Jericho match, like you said. I'm kind of fine with it, just having been the one from years ago. And I still remember the 2016 feud, because that's when I was starting. I remember the Asylum match with the thumbtacks. I remember Mitch, the potted plant.
That's right.
So I'm kind of okay with just remembering that, and then also the first AEW feud. I think that was done well enough. I don't think this really needs to be revisited.
It might just be they're in a bit of a holding pattern. Maybe they had all kinds of plans for Punk, right?
Maybe it's just still stemming from, I guess, Double Nothing or Blood and Guts, I guess. With Jazz versus Blackpool Comic Club now, which is fine, but I don't really need it.
I'm ready to move on.
I must say that Anna Jay was horrible here, bad. I thought the Anna JAS line was so stupid and cringy, and then stuff she said after sounded terrible too.
She's not good.
When she was saying she would choke out everyone, she was like, "I'll choke out you, I'll choke out you." It was so bad. She said she was the sexiest and the toughest line, and it was that was bad too. It sounded awful.
I'm afraid that the "I'll choke out you" and "choke out you" with her shrieking is going to become a thing. It reminds me of Vicky Guerrero with the "excuse me" catching on, right? So I'm a bit worried about that, but she wasn't good here. No.
Yeah, it was one of the worst promos in recent memory. Just Anna Jay. I mean, like just her thing, and it was the shortest part of this, so
Yep.
it was really bad. Overall good opener. Solid promo from Mox, and also I did check. I'll do a second check really quick, but when I checked, I think we watched it. We would have watched it Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
This part.
Yep.
So Jericho was ranked number 5. So Jericho's ranked number 5. So
very on brand.
It all makes sense.
Yep.
So I can't even argue with the title shot now. And honestly, Yuta is not ranked number 5. So he cannot have the title shot. Like,
that's telegraphing that he's not winning it, I guess.
Exactly. And 2.0 are ranked number 5. So I guess title shots all around.
Yep. Should be.
And it's weird that Nice and Josh Woods are then, because it feels like they haven't even teamed yet.
Spoiler.
So I was just thinking about that. So the AEW World Trios Championships are announced. Title shown on the announced. I think they look pretty good.
Just all of a sudden, they're just sitting on the announce table there, right? Yeah, they look cool.
I wish it was like a package, kind of like for the Atlantic title, but
I get excited thinking about some of the trios matches like on pay-per-views, right? Like when they really build it and you're really going to get a killer trios match. Like I love them. So I'm very excited for this.
Tournament commencing at All Out will be held, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm a tournament guy. So I know AEW does a lot of tournaments, but I love tournaments, so I'm fine.
Yeah,
it's just instant, simple story, right?
Yeah.
Which I like.
You don't need a story, and it's like you can't even complain.
We're competing for something.
Right.
That helps me.
It's like they don't have to have like, and sometimes you can work a build within there, but like then you're not forced to, and then like you can't even complain. It's just like tournament.
You have a basic story there ready made, and if the teams involved have history already or whatever, even better.
Right. You can just pile on to the fact that it's a tournament, or you can say tournament.
Right.
And then you're good.
Yep.
Next we get Dante Martin interview. He says he knows Sammy will have Ty at ringside. And Thai food? Mm-hmm. No. Okay.
No.
He thinks it's because Sammy knows he can't hang anymore because Dante's been working week in, week out, and Sammy's been on vacations and stuff. He says he was Sky Blue in his corner for backup. And so I thought it was a solid promo. I thought he sounded good enough. I thought it was
for him, right?
Yeah,
I agree.
I think by his standards,
right?
Yeah. I thought he had a solid point going. And then he was like, "I'm gonna have Sky Blue with me." I'm just like, "Oh, okay."
And I realized later that's his real life lady friend.
Yeah, that's okay. But like, it's just like I thought he had like a good point going. Like I've been working my ass off and you haven't.
I like that point too.
And then he's like,
"You are my son."
Sky Blue in my corner, and then it's just like, okay.
We are related, because my notes are because we didn't talk about this before, and mine are like Dante sounded pretty good here, and that's a major improvement.
I think that applies to someone else too.
Like I'll read my notes verbatim after what you just said. Right. I did like his point about Sammy not being dedicated while Dante puts in the work, but the addition of Sky Blue seems very random. So could consensus Rhett on that one.
Yes.
And then my only other note is it really feels like AEW has no idea what to do with Dante outside of the ring, and they just keep trying different things. And for me, none of them really worked except what worked with Rush. Leo Rush and Dante was sick.
Where is Leo Rush? We need Leo. That was good.
What did they have? 1 or 2 tag matches that
I remember,
we were like,
at least on Dynamite, 2 matches
that were like bangers, as the kids say.
Why are they like? Why did they drop that?
I don't know.
That was money.
Ever since then, and with his brother being chronically injured, they just don't know what to do with him. Other than like, just put him in the ring because he's fun to watch.
His
but
brother's like forever injured.
Yes. Well, Dante got injured in this match tonight too.
Did he?
He did.
Really?
Remember, he was selling a knee tweak. That was real.
Mm.
Off one of his like flip things, he landed.
Well, that's just bound. That's just an injury waiting to happen. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Carry on, sir. Sorry.
Next we have Ricky Starks versus Danhausen for the FEW World Championship.
Yes.
Totally world title. There's pre-entrance video for Starks. Not much to note, but it was alright.
I thought it was cool.
I enjoy Starks' theme.
He has some, and I don't think I'm the first one to say this by any means, but he has some like mini rock vibes to him. Ricky Starks does.
He's
just a lot of charisma.
I think as they've been like warming him up lately, I've actually found myself, because he's always been a good hand, I think.
The crowd
but, like,
clearly loves him.
As the crowd's like getting more into it, I also find myself getting more into it.
Which I think led to what happens here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which we'll get to.
Notables, Danhausen mocks Starks doing like the taunt, and Starks hits a boot. And then he did the taunt and stuff.
Yep.
Starks misses a corner move, and Danhausen gets a roll for 2. Starks wins with the spear. Short match, as we expected. He says Danhausen's not absolute. He says he still has some left in the tank, and he's serious this time. He wants another challenger, and so Mr. Taz Jr. Hook
in orange
comes
trunks
out
this
in
week.
Orange
The signature
shorts.
Taz family color.
Yep. Yeah, it's other people stealing his color when they use it, right? That was him.
That's right. He
Yeah.
owns orange.
Yep. So it was a squash match. I can't say much. I think it worked how they should have done it.
Yep.
Again, I'm disappointed Starks didn't use Rochambeau, but it's not that important. Like, oh, that's a cool move.
He got Rochambeau countered, in fact.
Yeah, in the
to
second.
lose.
I'll talk about the second match after.
Oh, sorry.
I'll also note that Starks was pretty hot in the entrance. Like, it was kind of, you can feel it. Like, it was a little electric there. You can tell from the crowd.
They love him.
He was like fired up, and I don't know. I liked it. It's a little
Me too.
infectious. Like, it's just like kind of gets you amped up
Yes.
a bit. Hook versus Starks should be cool. That'll be another brief one. You want to talk about the first match quick?
I mean, it was a squash, right? And so it's funny because I kind of got spoiled, but I stopped reading. I saw a headline or something that said new FTW champion. So I was like, oh my God, Danhausen's winning. And then I got really confused because he didn't win and he got squashed, right? So then I was like, what? And so then obviously as soon as Hook came out, I knew what was happening. But yeah, it was a squash. It was fine. This is the role for Danhausen, right? Like, again,
that happened.
They're doing little bite-sized chunks of Danhausen. I don't want a full meal of Danhausen, but like a bite or two, fine.
That's funny. Danhausen actually won the title. That's funny.
Yeah.
I wish it happened to me. That would have been really funny.
I was confused.
That's really funny. So we transition right into Hook versus Ricky Starks for the FJW title. Round. Dose. There's a pump handle suplex by Hook after a lot of body shots in the corner. Chop and a back suplex by Starks. The finish comes with Starks, hits a spear, but Hook then counters Rochambeau. Of course, when he goes for Rochambeau, they counter it.
How dare they?
Into the red rum, and he gets the win. So yeah, it was another pretty short one, but I like this one more. Like, there's a surprise too instead of this being the announced match. I think the element of surprise here kind of made it cooler. Like the Danhausen one was kind of a vehicle to get to this, which I'm okay with. I think that works. I'd prefer that. Like, cause I'd like kind of like disguising this as the Danhausen thing.
And then you get a bit of foreshadowing with a fist bump, right, between Starks and Hook. Like foreshadowing the non-heelness possibly coming up
both
later.
of them.
Right.
It was well done. Starks didn't get completely dominated, so that's good because he got a decent amount, like, considering it's Hook, so you kind of got to protect them. The finish bit was cool. Actually, I like the counter. I think it's kind of smart giving this to Hook because, well, he's Taz's kid, but also I like because it helps Hook keep the momentum because that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But because I don't know if I see him like getting any of the title spots anytime soon.
Not
right
now.
So I think having like a non-sanctioned title helps him have something. Like, he's got a title. He's got something. Like, he could defend it because Starks has done that, so it's not like out of the question. That'll get him on TV, get him in some matches, and then that'll kind of help him progress. Like, keep him on TV.
And we still don't really know if Hook's ready for any sort of long matches, so the FTW allows him to just have shorter matches, right? Because it doesn't matter.
And here's hoping this could mean Starks getting a real title run, because honestly, I think Starks has earned it.
I think they're clearing the way for him to do bigger, even before the aftermath of this. Like, that's what I was saying in my notes in the moment, right? The crowd loves Starks, so I imagine they have something planned for him. And I also thought, like, Hook winning the belt makes sense. And he only still had to work a quick match here because his opponent had just finished a match, right? So a lot of this made a lot of sense to me, to be perfectly honest. And then
I think all around I like,
including the aftermath, which is coming up here,
so
right?
I'll talk about that next after the commercial break, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
In the ring, Starks gets an interview. Shivani and Hobbs is there now.
Yeah, Hobbs is there.
That's cool.
Yep.
Interesting.
What's he doing there? Supporting his buddy.
Wearing pants.
Yeah, looking huge. He's a big man.
Stark says he lost and he's no stranger to it. He's okay with it. He says he was given that title when it was on news and he turned it around, made the most of it. He brought it to prominence about as much as he can. And he exceeded expectations. He says he doesn't want to hear that it's not his time. He says his time is now. He says it hasn't been a string of bad luck. It's been a string of bad timing. His sentence is cut off by a clothesline from Hobbs. And even Taz is like...
My note is Hobbs kills him. That's it.
Yeah, he did.
Clothesline to the back of the neck.
And Taz is not like... Taz wasn't on board with this. So it's not like...
So
I'll talk about it later.
Gone rogue?
It's not like Taz is ejecting Starks out.
Right.
Like, it's clearly Hobbs
has gone rogue.
Going rogue.
Right.
I'll talk more about that after. And then Spinebuster Starks by Hobbs. I think the clothesline looked better than the Spinebuster. The Spinebuster wasn't...
It looked good.
One of his best. The clothesline just like...
Looked good.
You could have just left it at that, honestly. So, do you want to go? Or?
Sure. Right. So I did like these two as a team, right? Like, I thought Hobbs and Starks...
I liked the absolute power.
A lot of potential, but it's undeniable, and this is something AEW does. The crowd wants to cheer for Starks, right?
And
so they're
I
going to
don't
be
think you
like,
can do
we
both.
get that. So, and I honestly think Hobbs could be a huge heel too. Like, I think he's really cool. So all of this
I'd like to
makes
see how they work with him, like, cause on his own.
me
'Cause I feel
too.
like Stark could always be the mouthpiece for him. So
Yes,
now, if you're taking that out of the equation, and I'm willing to bet he's distancing from Taz as well. I'm
he'd
interested
be a
to see
good
how
fit
he's
for Prince
speaking on his
Nana's
own.
group of monsters.
That's true.
But
I kind of like to keep him around though.
all of this kind of makes sense to me, and it sets up like a fresh feud for each person, right? At the end of the day, this match and segment for me forced three characters in different directions, right? You've got Hook, Hobbs, and Starks all sort of profoundly changed by one sort of segment of the show. So I think that's pretty successful, and I'm kind of interested to see where all of it goes. So I thought this was like a really clever way to push three characters in different directions, all in what, like maybe 10 minutes total on a weekly show. So I thought it was effective.
Yeah, great storytelling. Yeah, I thought it was a solid promo from Starks. I said
Yeah,
the turn
his
wasn't
was
obvious
really good.
enough, but that's okay because I thought this was really good. So people have been cheering Starks more lately. So as much as I like this team, like you said, I guess it does make sense for them to do. And honestly, I'm kind of like, 'cause I'm willing to cheer Starks too. I think he's been doing really good, and they've been doing a good job. Like I said, I've also been liking him lately. Even Hobbs a bit, like it's kind of rubbing off on him too. It sucks his team is done but it could mean better things for Starks, which I hope it is. Which maybe a push or something, which I think would be cool. Maybe like you get a mini push for Hobbs too, even if it's just this feud. I do kind of wish Team Taz stuck together because we just got the trios titles, but it's okay because I feel like I don't know how well that would have gone. And Taz is selling the turn on commentary too, so I don't think it's like necessarily Starks is a Team Taz. Maybe more so it's Hobbs, or maybe it's like it is Starks is out too, and it's just everyone's going their separate ways. Maybe like Taz just sticks to mainly commentary, and maybe like with Hook, which I think is fine. But I'm just meaning I don't think Taz orchestrated this against Starks.
No,
I think,
it doesn't seem like it.
unless it's a con, but I don't think it was. I think it was like he was like, "Will, what are you doing?" So like I don't know. I think it was more he didn't orchestrate it, and also Starks and Hook probably on good terms because they did like the fist bump thing, so they're kind of like face-ish, and then Hobbs is gonna be the one going rogue, I guess. Maybe you have face Team Taz kind of, and it's just like Starks and Hook, but I don't know. I could see them being like loosely affiliated, kind of like a la Hangman Dark Order.
Yeah.
If
Yep.
something like that. And I hope this is them starting to do more Starks. I thought this was really
I
good.
think it
like,
is.
You're like you said, setting a lot of characters on new paths all at once, and I think that was done really well. And I kind of wish Wardlow wasn't TNT champion because I feel like that'll last a decent while. And someone like Starks is hot right now. If it wasn't, if like a Sky was still holding the title, you throw Starks there. Someone like Starks would be awesome with that title right now. It's kind of why Wardlow as champ is them in an awkward spot. Like who beats him?
Right?
Because with Starks turning here, I feel like if he were to win the TNT title, which could happen at some point, and that's actually how he debuts. That's kind of funny. Shouldn't they get a heel in there first, right, to take it off Wardlow? I feel like, and then but then also you run the risk of like doing a transitional champion, which I don't think they really do, and I don't want them to do.
Yeah.
And
except for the Young Bucks.
Wardlow's hop. I'm kind of wishing they kind of kept him out of the title pictures because now they're kind of stuck for a while. Like, how do you after I think you can do Hobbs feud first, right? But after that, how do you capitalize on Starks? You know?
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna. It's clearly he's not a top of the card guy, but yeah, like the TNT spot is a pretty nice spot for him. But we talked about it; they have booked
and the Atlantic
themselves.
title is like all but like out right now. And plus, I don't think Pac would drop anything.
They've bucked themselves into a corner with Wardlow, right? Like it's hard to imagine him losing at this point. But
right,
yeah, I thought it was cool, right? Because Starks cuts like a super intense, really good babyface promo, and it's like Hobbs just couldn't stand to hear it. He just killed him from behind. So yeah,
I do hope they explain that. That is just like kind of the missing piece of the puzzle, and then you jet them off of a feud. I think that's a solid like mid card match for All Out.
I agree.
So that's pretty cool.
Yep, I like this. That whole segment was cool.
Yeah, I think like a couple of mini matches and the whole promo. I think that's like
and just characters advancing, right?
Is a good package.
I agree.
Those three things.
Yep.
Next we get the Acclaimed. Caster says they've roasted the Ass Boys in the rap battle. They'll do it again this week, and you'll have to watch their music video to see what the match type will be. Bones says Friday they are taking out the Trash Boys. Everyone loves the Acclaimed, so they're taking out the Trash on Rampage. That was a solid little bit. I always enjoy Caster. Another music video. These don't let me down, so I'm looking forward to that bit on Rampage because those always deliver. I did watch it, and it was cool.
Was it? I didn't watch it yet. So yeah, I thought this was nothing special from the Acclaimed.
FYI, spoiler, it's a dumpster match.
Oh, nice. I don't love the feud continuing with the Guns, but whatever. I guess we get a music video, so fine.
WrestleMania 14, I think. New Age Outlaws, Cactus Jack, and Chainsaw Charlie dumpster match. So Billy Gunn had a dumpster match. There's the connection.
Nice.
Got it.
Nailed it.
Next we get Sammy Guevara versus Dante Martin with Sky Blue.
Sky Blue.
Oh, yeah.
Who looked, on my note, Ty Conti and Sky Blue, brackets, who looks really awkward during Martin's entrance, are there too. Like, she just looked like she was standing there with no idea what to do. But anyways.
She just got placed there randomly.
It's not a major problem.
Yeah. There's the double leapfrog thing, and then the corkscrew dropkick by Guevara. Martin runs for a dive. Guevara slides in the ring, so Martin does like a big backflip off the top rope and lands on his feet for a fake out. So that was kind of cool.
It was.
Dante hits a dive to the outside, but gets caught pretty good with a knee strike from Guevara.
Yes.
Caught him pretty good there. A standing Spanish fly by Martin for 2, which is interesting because Guevara usually does that. And it was after he flipped out of an avalanche back suplex. Eventually, Guevara picks up the win with the GTH. After the match, Guevara and Conti are just kicking Martin. Guevara goes up top, but Sky Blue stands in the way, and then her and Conti argue until Anna Jay attacks Sky Blue from behind.
More Anna Jay in your day.
Yes. I'd say this is worse than Anna Jay when she was the star of the show. That's funny. So they attack her, then Ruby Soho, Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston run out to chase away the Jazz members. Cool.
Yeah, post-match stuff, whatever. But I thought this was a pretty exciting little TV match between two ridiculous athletes, right? So the way I looked at it was like a cool contrast to the matches that preceded this, because we got like a kind of a physical match in the opener, and then we got a couple squash matches, right? And then we get this like high-paced super athlete match. I thought the Cutter and GTH finishing combination looks pretty awesome. If you give these guys some stakes and a story and a longer match at some point, I'd watch it again for sure. Thought this was a nice little teaser of what they could do.
Yeah, it was a solid match. I thought Martin had some cool feats again. In general, this was all right. But aside from Martin doing some cool athletic things like usual, wasn't a ton to note. Like it wasn't bad, but it was just like, not a lot here, and it was all right.
I thought for like a TV match in the middle of a show, it was pretty entertaining.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Obviously for Guevara, post-match stuff wasn't really anything either.
No, it's just whatever AEW likes to do, and I am numb to most of it. They just do it all the time, so it's fine.
Yep. Next we get a Daniel Garcia interview. Which
we're normally not looking forward to, but this was okay.
He asks where Brian has been. He says he has been in the ring getting sharper and better. He asks if Brian's been getting better or has been working on his garden with his family.
Yeah.
He says if Brian hesitates or makes a mistake, he will take advantage. He will send Brian back on vacation, and people will call him the best technical sports entertainer, which I hated that line. Because I thought most of this promo was pretty solid.
It was.
I saw him he always has this he's moving his shoulders weird. I hate that mannerism or sometimes his delivery, but I think what he said here was pretty good. I thought, except for that last line with the technical sports entertainer, I thought that was dumb because it's so contradictory.
Yes.
In of itself, and it's
oxymoronical.
Weird. Yeah, and I don't know, I just didn't like that, but I thought most of this was pretty good. I liked it. Considering how much I despise some of his promos, this was better.
So I agree. I don't know if you saw the package before the Yuta match at Death Before Dishonor.
I don't seem to recall.
That promo and this are, for me, by far the best promos he's done, because he seems to be leaning away from the sports entertainer stuff.
Still
in
these,
there,
right? Why is he in there?
Because that's just not him, and I don't think he's veteran enough or comfortable enough on the microphone to have to quote unquote act as well. If you send him out there and be just be the technical guy you are and talk about that, he's more comfortable. He sounds a lot better, right? Doing the I'm a hardworking, technically skilled wrestler is more comfortable for him than I'm a sports entertainer, because he's not, right? He's not one. So for him, but so I like it for Garcia, but it kind of doesn't make sense because they keep going away from the sports entertainer and then back to it. And you can't tell me that the match he has on this show is a sports entertainment match, because it's not, right? So yeah, I like the promo here for him, and I'm glad to see him doing well, but it's like they had an idea for this group, the Jericho Appreciation Society, and then they had no idea how to deliver it.
I liked him with 2.0, but 2.0 definitely fit the billing of that faction.
Yes,
he does not.
Right, I agree.
So
this was some of his best mic work, I thought.
Next we get Dut Lethal Singh. I literally wrote dot comma lethal dot comma Singh.
Yep.
Nothing else. Lethal says he doesn't want to talk about Dust before Dishonor. He wants to sell their unfinished business with best friends.
Which is I don't know either.
Rampage?
Unfinished business.
Unstarted business?
I don't understand. I don't know. I thought it was just me not remembering things. But
I want to say I know Dut and Lethal team, so maybe it was on Rampage.
Could be. Or the internet. Who knows?
I have no idea.
Doesn't matter. Carry on.
Dut says they are real best friends. Best friends interrupt saying their schedule's open for Rampage. And they say it can be a tag match because Dut doesn't have what it takes anymore because Dut says he wouldn't wrestle.
Ooh.
Dut gets fired up, makes it a trios match, which I don't think he really wrestled in. I think he he basically played the Christian Cage or the Mark Sterling card in recent memory. After Best Friend leaves, he gets fired up at Lethal and saying asking why they didn't stop him. So
yeah,
I feel like because he didn't mean to do it, he just kind of got caught up. It was fine. Lethal Dut part was fine. I thought it was kind of funny when Best Friends came in. They were like, hey, "You think you can just talk about us when we're nearby in tie-dye suits?"
In their full tie-dye suits.
Even Orange Cassidy had it, which was interesting.
He did.
Just setting up a Rampage match. This is fine. Also, it's odd because this is not heel Best Friend, so I guess it's just different before maybe.
Yeah, it's similar format to what Dut, Lethal, and Singh do, but just a different target, right? I thought Dut's after Best Friends left, I did not like Dut's performance. I thought he was really over the top and almost pushed this into comedy feel when he was so upset and angry. I didn't love that. And yeah, the Best Friends just continue to sort of drift a little bit aimlessly, right? But maybe not even a problem because somebody has to do that. They have to have reliable workers to sort of jump from thing to thing, and I guess that's the role they're in right now. So yeah, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know why they signed Lethal.
I don't know, just a guy, I guess.
I don't really like that group. They're fine. I just don't really care.
Well, they just do the same thing every week, right? And they do it fine, but it doesn't mean I want it every week, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next we hear from Jungle Boy. He starts right out of the gate as far as saying Cage is the biggest P word
yes
he has ever met in his entire life. He says he has watched Cage come up for weeks and talk about his family, and now Cage is the most relevant he has ever been. And as soon as he came back, Cage ran off. He didn't get why Cage was so angry, and the Battle Royal shouldn't have been such a big deal for someone like Cage. But then he realized it was because that Cage was strapped for cash because his wife just divorced his ass. So that's kind of funny.
And I don't think a lot of people know that. I didn't know that, and I assume it's true. So that's funny. Yeah. That was a good little line.
Jungle says Cage needs someone to protect him, so he found himself a monster. But that monster is his best friend, and Cage is being protected for him, and nobody will get their hands on Cage but him. And he says Cage can talk crap and he can take it. Cage cuts him off on the Tron, adjacent to the monitor.
Yes.
He says Luchasaurus made a big mistake because in the past few weeks he saw where Cage could lead him. He threw it away to remain Jungle Boy's lapdog. Cage says he ran away last week because he was afraid of what he would have done to Jungle Boy if he stayed. He says Jungle Boy hasn't seen nothing yet. He'll put him in a body bag. He won't talk crap about Jungle Boy's father anymore, and he can put Jungle Boy in the dirt beside him.
I like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that.
He says he still has the advantage and he knows Jungle Boy's secrets, and he will exploit his weakness. I like this quite a bit. I thought it was easily the best Jungle Boy promo we've ever had. I thought it was way better here.
Yes, he's getting way better.
It's usually not his strength, but I thought this was pretty good. I thought some of the things he said regarding Cage and the divorce was funny. I thought he showed some pretty good passion here. When he was fired up, I thought that was really good. Way better. I think Jungle Boy actually cut a good promo here, which I can't really say he's done much of before. So I think this is easily the best we've heard him before. I thought Cage is pretty good too. He has some good lines, still amusing. If they could keep this quality, this feud might be worth watching. Another it could be another solid mid card pay-per-view match.
Yep.
I thought it was all around a pretty good segment. I've actually quite enjoyed the Jungle Boy promo, which is kind of cool to say because I haven't said it yet. I
really enjoyed parts of it. I feel like it ebbed and flowed a bit. Some were really strong, and then there's couple parts where he wasn't as strong. But at the end of the day, this is a lengthy promo for him, and if he is really one of the pillars of this...
which, a lot of the times, they were going out of their way to not do that.
Right, exactly. Oh, yeah, they were avoiding it.
And now they're doing this, so I think that's, at least a good sign.
And if he is one of their pillars, right, they need to give him opportunities like this so he can improve, so I have no problem with it. I
think it was a good opportunity.
He's already better than he was, for sure,
agreed.
And hopefully he just continues to improve. I thought Christian was solid. I like that they let Jungle Boy get personal, and even personal with some details that I don't think most people know about the divorce divorce.
Yeah, I like that you kind of went like it was kind of harsh too, like which I like because like Cage has been like
right. He's talking about your dead
weeks,
dad,
so
right? So,
I like that Jungle Boy like went there as well.
And we get a little bit of intrigue too, like with the way Christian left it, right? By saying, "I know your secrets, right, and I know how to whatever." So that
yeah, that's interesting.
leaves us to wonder, like, what is he gonna know?
I
What's
thought
he
the
gonna?
explanation with Luchasaurus was fine. Like I guess that works.
It wasn't as. But why did he go with Christian briefly then? Like that's what
what they said to protect him so that he's like I guess so then that Jungle Boy can beat him. I guess.
I don't know.
It's not the best explanation, but
it's not.
I'm fine with it.
But no, I was totally okay. I thought overall this was a good segment as well. It's one
Yeah.
of the things I'm going to talk about in my overall statements is I thought the segments this week were way more productive than they have been in a few weeks recently, right?
Which is what you want.
Because
right?
we're always going to get some good wrestling, but sometimes the segments I don't feel like are moving anything along, whereas this week there was lots of things shaking free, which I liked.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Next week,
even this segment is another case in point.
I was about to say, Young Bucks backstage, so they want color shut off. And then he asked about the Trios tournament. So then he's kind of nudging them in the direction like he wants to team with them. They're
right.
Like, they shut that down. They're walking. They run into Hangman,
yeah,
whose birthday was with me.
The same day
in Trips.
Trips, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a cool boy.
And one of the Bucks is
Nick was either yesterday or the day before.
Right, because he was saying your birthday's tomorrow. I think he was.
Yeah,
saying.
They say happy birthday, Hangman. Hangman mentions Nick is the next day. I think it was. Matt says he has been wanting to talk to Hangman for a while. Bit of intrigue there, but it gets cut off by Dark Order jumping in. They're all excited about Hangman because it's Dark Order. Gotta love it. Bucks walk off. They show a color to cut the cam as always. I thought it was solid. Maybe hints at the Bucks turning. Perhaps I'm not sure.
I don't know, right?
I think Hangman team with them would be interesting. Although I feel like Hangman would probably team with Dark Order if he's going trios, titles. Then you also have Undisputed Era. Bucks could. I feel like Bucks go with Omega, but maybe this is breadcrumbing something because I think it's really interesting when Matt said he wanted to talk to Hangman, but then he couldn't. So I don't It definitely breadcrumbs something, I guess. It's interesting.
So I thought the same, right?
Where does that go?
First of all, Paige getting back into a program with the Bucks will raise his profile, which he needs to do, right?
It kind of reminds me of remember when he won the title and the Bucks were at ringside and they kind of gave him the nod, they didn't stop.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of that.
It's so I quite enjoyed I called it the awkwardness of this scene, right? Where it's we're Paige and the Bucks about to sort of make up. Do we have the Dark Order? Are they now getting in Paige's way, right? Could we get to a Dark Order heel turn at some point?
True.
Are they the ones stopping Paige from, reconciling with his true friends and whatever?
Climbing back up the card.
And were the Bucks about to approach Paige about a trios run, right? All of these things.
Maybe Omega's not ready, and maybe this is
right.
That they're gonna kind of build that as I don't know, the elite kind of reconcile and they're.
And Omega could come back as a mega heel and hate the fact that they're baby faces
and he
together.
Could maybe align with Undisputed Era. If they are going that they reconcile, you book the finals for them versus Undisputed Era. And I don't even care if Undisputed Era lose because I think either way that would be awesome.
And so, this was yet another segment where they're sort of making us think about what's to come. And I think that is cool, right?
Yep. I like that a lot.
A little bit of intrigue.
Breadcrumbing.
Yes.
Gotta love it.
Yep.
Next we get Swerve Strickland versus Tony Nese and Mark Sterling 2-on-1 handicap match. Taz said that Sterling looked like Captain America threw up.
That man is committed to the gimmick, eh? Sterling, he'll do whatever. I quite enjoy him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks
even
ridiculous,
the ring gear,
but he should.
He's not showing anything.
No.
It's like if he was a woman wrestling in Saudi Arabia.
It's funny. It made me laugh.
Yeah. Notables, there's a few backbreaker and a clothesline to Nese by Swerve. Sterling provides a distraction. Then Nese pulls Swerve down on the apron by his hair, so that was kind of cool. Swerve pump kicks Nese in the corner, and that makes an inverted tag to Sterling. And so the finish comes in. Sterling's trying to run away. He's running around the ring. He gets caught in the ring, and Swerve hits a house call, which that was a loud crack.
Yeah.
The leg slap.
Sounded like a firecracker.
Yeah, but it looked cool.
Yeah.
And he pinned Sterling, just sat on him, just a laid back pin. And then after the match, you cut to backstage. Keith Lee is knocked out on the floor.
He looks like he's taking a nap on the floor. It looked silly to me. It looks like he's all cuddled up napping, and Josh Woods is just standing there. That's what it looked like to me.
Josh Woods tucked
him in, exactly. Read him a story, and tucked him in, and was like, shh, he's babysitting Keith Lee backstage.
It's implied that he attacked him, but then next week
we just he's just babysitting.
Yeah, Lee was all alone backstage, and he can't take care of himself.
He was getting fussy, so we put him down for a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like he was about to attack Josh Woods.
Maybe.
And so yeah, Josh Woods attacked Lee, and Swerve sees on the Tron and is distracted, so Nice attacks him from behind, then doesn't really do anything.
No. Yeah, I don't know. It was decent action between Swerve and Nice, but nothing special. It was designed to get us to the aftermath, I guess. Josh Woods is cool, man. His nickname is the Technical Beast, and he is both a technician and a beast. So I'm hoping maybe a tag team with Nice might be.
I think that's the angle.
Right, and it might elevate Nice, because even though the guy's on TV all the time, he's on TV as an afterthought.
I don't really care about him.
Right, he's on all the time, but he's not really doing anything.
I don't think he's bad. It's just because I don't care.
He's really good in the ring.
I don't even think he's that good. Like,
he's just bland.
That's probably it for me. I don't know. Like, I know he's good, but I just don't really see him as being that good. Yeah, and I thought this final was like how you expect. I do kind of find some interest in the Josh Woods Nice team, but I'd also like prefer a more established team facing Swerve and Lee. Like, it's like this team just coming out random, like not in the rankings at all, not even having a match.
It's just one of those placeholder matches.
It's fine. It's a nitpick. At least then, like that segment last week when they interrupted the tag title celebration, like
wasn't for nothing, right?
Yeah. Like it's not leading to Sterling and
Nice,
or like
agreed.
just Nice. Like at least like now it's like with Woods, and like it's not even out of the blue either. Like they did show us the dark clip, so at least there's that.
Actually, Nice and Woods would be kind of a cool combination, because you've got the athletic, like super flippy Nice.
Yeah, no, I'm interested in this for sure. I just kind of wish it was like not just this team that's forming for the feud.
Yeah. Josh Woods is one of those guys where if wrestling were real, he would kill everybody. Basically, He is a beast.
Next we get a House of Black promo.
Yeah, we do.
Black talked about Miro and said nowadays the Gondel are the same. He said a lot. If you want to see this, go watch it, because I'm really bad at covering
his promos are the hardest to recap.
I hate covering his stuff because I just want to watch it, and then also I'm really bad at it because he makes it so hard.
He's very cryptic.
He said a lot of stuff. Also said Miro spent his life, I think, worshiping God, worshiping the throne. And he can put Miro on the throne or something like that. It's like, is that recruiting?
No, I don't think so.
It sounded like that. And then shifting gears, King talks about Darby, says he attacks him in public, made an example of him on Dynamite because he can, aims to beat Darby at his own game, and challenges him to a coffin match. Third one, I think it was, Ethan Page, Andrade, King. So I thought the Black promo was pretty good, standard, but I liked it. I hate taking notes for it, because it's how do I even do that?
Right.
I literally, like, I was going to get notes for it, but then, like I can find it for, like, with the guy, and so I just went off of memory, which worked out, I guess.
Yeah.
I could be misunderstanding stuff how it is, but it almost sounded like a recruitment. Like, I don't know, it's like you can put him on the throne, like he's gonna help Miro, or like
I'm not sure where they're going
kill
with
him. I don't know.
He's gonna fight him for sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
That was good, but I don't know. I still don't like the kind of like it just feels too heel on heel for me, and like it just doesn't like I don't think Miro really is, but I just don't really see like a good.
The match
clash.
should be good though.
Like the match will be good, yeah, but like on paper, like just like on the characters wise, I don't see a solid clash there. I don't know. There's something about it's just like off-putting to me. I think maybe until it happens, I'm not sure. The King promo was solid too. I'm down for a rematch with him and Darby, and the coffin match is interesting.
Although I fear Darby doesn't lose that, right?
Yeah.
Which I think he could. I think King still needs to keep just wrecking
King could
people.
Beat him. I don't think Darby's lost the coffin match yet.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I think it's his match, and he's gonna win them
maybe
all the time.
It's good fight pit.
So I've sort of gone from like really, really wanting to like House of Black to actually liking House of Black, which feels good to say. It's feeling more to me like King and Black are kind of on equal footing rather than Black being the leader, and I appreciate that. And they're sort of going with what I was hoping, where Black continues to speak in riddles and cryptic and whatever figurative language, and then King just steps out of the darkness beside him and just is really straightforward and to the point, right?
Yeah.
And I like the two of them like in that role keep doing that.
I incorporate Murphy into that because Murphy is cool too.
We
forgot about him.
Here's the poet, with all the flowery language, and then this tattooed giant dude steps forward and just says what he wants to say. Like, I'm just gonna beat the hell out of you. And that was it's funny because mine says, feels like these members of House of Black have better defined their roles and have clear feuds to get into. so I'm getting more invested in House of Black, and then ... But what about Buddy Matthews, right? That's what I'm saying too.
I think they can work that.
I
They
do
have
too.
to, because Murphy is awesome.
Yeah.
He's probably my favorite guy out of them, just because, I don't know, I've liked him for a while.
Maybe he's off getting like full body tattoos so he can fit into the group.
I'm pretty sure he's in Australia, like
Yeah.
his place. I'm not sure how long he's there for. I hope he comes back soon, 'cause I like him. Although I'm kind of hoping he's like, maybe like he's gone pretty small, because like I feel like you should keep them out of the trios tournament for now, because they have to lose at some point. I don't see them winning the tournament.
No, probably not.
So they'd have to lose at some point, which I don't think is smart. Unless maybe you work Miro into that.
That'd be a sick trios team.
Maybe you work
Miro onto the team?
No.
Oh.
Like he
gets a trios team?
No, he screws them.
Oh, okay.
Like he screws Black.
Yeah.
So maybe you can work that. Like, I don't know. But maybe Miro has like his own mist.
Oh boy.
Like a red mist or like white mist, godly mist.
Godly mist. Holy water mist.
Holy water mist.
Yeah.
White viscous liquid.
Maybe.
Or something. I don't know. But anyways, like, I don't know, just like I don't see them winning that, and I'd also rather they don't lose. So you kinda have to fit angle something there.
Yes.
Fit angle.
Fandangle. Fandango. Finagle.
Next we have Thunder Rosa versus Miyu Yamashita.
Yes.
Who's that?
And
Ayike.
prepare for disappointment, me.
AEW Women's World Championship. So there's this bit on the apron that was kind of slow and sloppy, and then results in like a leg sweep to Rosa.
Yeah, it was
from
weird.
Yamashita, and she falls on the apron. There's a shotgun dropkick on the outside by Rosa, which is solid. Running dropkick against the Rose, which she did better than usual by a bit.
Yeah, she did 2 in
like
a row.
It wasn't like the one I saw wasn't like the quick like
where she lands on her feet. She did that right before that.
Okay.
You were typing.
All right.
She hit the first one like that.
Okay,
and
I
then
just
the
saw the
second one not.
Usually goes like
Yes.
And then Northern Light suplex for 2 by Rosa. Ontario.
What?
Canada.
Oh, sure.
There was a cool wheelbarrow suplex for 2 by Yamashita.
That was my
kind of
favorite
like
thing in
deadlift.
Yep.
There's a springboard integrating this like heel kick kind of thing for 2 by Yamashita. Rosa counters a move by Yamashita from like a fireman's carry, and so she counters into a small package for 2, and then Yamashita counters that into a small package for 2. It mimicked the end of their match where Yamashita won to get the title shot.
Yep.
But instead Rosa kicked out the second time, so it didn't end. There's a bit of striking back and forth, and Rosa puts her with the Fire Thunder driver. Yep.
Yeah, I really wanted to like this, but I didn't, unfortunately. I thought the early few minutes felt really choreographed, like they had laid out the first few minutes, move for move, basically. Then there was a bunch of awkwardness on the apron in that spot. I just feel like they were not really in sync. And even JR, he speaks in code, right? When he'll say things like, this will be a slobber knocker or whatever, meaning like it's going to be ugly. He called Yamashita deliberate, right? Which I think was his way of being like, she's not looking great and kind of slow here.
Yeah.
Like, I was hoping to be like in love with a new talent I hadn't seen before, right? But I was not. I thought it was just choreography early, sloppiness throughout, a little bit out of sync. And I'm going to say it. I'm back to my initial assessment of Thunder Rosa, which is that she's overrated, man. I abandoned that theory for a bit, largely due to the feud with Britt Baker, where she looked amazing. But since then, right, like, it's been...
What outside of Baker has been...
Promos bad, matches just kind of okay. So she just can't seem to elevate anybody. I don't find that she has entertaining...
Right, that's something you kind of got to do. Like, not only, like, you got to be good yourself, and then you also got to
make
elevate
other people look good,
that's
right?
That's part of being the champion.
I don't find her having entertaining or high-quality matches consistently. I just think her title run is just really underwhelming, and it adds to, like, the serious issues in the women's division. Like, they need to make some wholesale changes, I feel like. The Thunder Rosa as champion experiment for me could end at any point. I'm not enjoying it, really. I'm back to being like, I think she's overrated. Like, people love her.
I agree.
She connects with the crowd, which is great, but I don't find her interesting.
We need Deeb. I think
we do need Deeb.
I don't see anyone else. I think it should be Deeb. I think she would do a fantastic job. I think she would do what Rosa should be doing, just as a heel, of course.
So Deeb, bring in Dakota Kai, bring in Sasha Banks. Let's go.
I actually I want Triple H to bring back Dakota Kai
Let's
there.
kick in that division.
I want
send her back to NXT and give her a lengthy title run.
Yeah.
She deserves it, man.
And then you do that with Baszler on the main roster.
Or Dakota Kai.
Or you bring Baszler here. Honestly, well, now Baszler might have a chance. I will talk about that later.
Maybe. Yeah.
I thought it was okay. Did not start out great. It felt just a little beginning. It got a little better.
And we say it. This is the one women's match we get
the same
a week,
spot.
and it's not good.
Exactly.
So frustrating.
Some of the spots later on were better, but in general, this wasn't ever in danger of stealing the show, to put it bluntly.
No.
It was fine, but another women's match in the same spot that fails to excite in any way.
Correct.
And I think I'd agree. Rosa's overrated. I think she's fine.
And I don't want to say that. I want to love her. I want to see what other people see. I don't see it.
I remember at least early on, I was like, it could get better. It's kept at the same level.
Yeah. She's not elevating others or herself, and she's not good on the mic, right? So
no.
If I'm not getting it in the ring or on the mic, there's not much left.
You're not really getting it
There's not much left yet.
So then this is where they put the AEW Toronto debut. I already talked about that, but I'm super pumped about that. That's cool.
Formally announced here, yes.
Yep, that is cool beans.
It is.
And then they just need to come back and do a pay-per-view, and that'll be cool.
That would be even cooler, yes.
Or give me tickets. They should do that.
They should do that.
I'll be like a Canadian ambassador or whatever.
Sure.
Something like that.
We'll get a press pass because we're
a
thriving wrestling podcast.
Definitely the top one. There's no one else who would possibly get it over a 15-year-old person.
Well, with dozens and dozens of followers. Actually, we're at hundreds of followers.
Do we have multiple hundreds?
Yes, we do.
Like 200?
Yes, over that.
What?
On Podbean alone, which is the only place I can actually see.
Oh, okay.
We have like 200 and something, plus whoever, I don't know how many people follow us on any other platform.
We can probably
so we're at hundreds.
Coolio.
Yeah,
man. Next we have our main event, which is Bryan Danielson with longer hair now. Not super long, not like before, but like it's still the kind of short hair.
Definitely hasn't cut it since he left, I don't think.
Yeah. Versus Daniel Garcia.
Jericho joins commentary.
Sports entertainer.
To add nothing, I didn't think, but yes.
Technical wrestler versus technical sports entertainer.
Yes. So glad to have Danielson back. There's been a lack of star power on this roster, and I will watch anything this dude does, so I was glad to see him back healthy.
He was looking like he was wearing like the dark blue, which I thought was kind of cool, which is different. And he looked kind of not Blackpool, but Comic Club, but then I saw this thing, he like AEW posted Blackpool Comic Club's like stacked or whatever, so he is still in Blackpool Comic Club, which is cool because that's a good faction that he should stay in.
He is. Don't worry.
I want him to wrestle Claudia though.
He might.
That'd be cool. They should do that. Notables. Bryan attacks Garcia right away with the corner dropkick and the corner yes kicks.
Fast-paced start to this right away.
Yeah, right away. Which seems to be the Blackpool Comic Club norm.
It is.
Mox and him did that like every match.
Attack as the bell rings.
I thought this was kind of cool on the outside. Bryan puts Garcia's left arm in a hammerlock and then sends him shoulder first in the ring post, like just can't block it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Everything the man does makes sense, man.
Danielson on Garcia at the ground mount. He willingly takes some chest shots from Garcia, and then he just like rains down forearms. Like that was pretty brutal. Not gonna lie. Killer Cross, take notes on how to do forearms, my friend. Top rope shotgun dropkick by Bryan, and they did like they ran the thing where he hit his head off the mat.
Yes.
So like
got a little story going in this,
right?
Which is great.
That's what I'm pretty sure that's what took him out before.
Yes.
Like to set up this comeback, I guess, right? So that's
So he's selling his head and neck for the rest of this.
That's pretty good.
Which made sense.
Danielson starts that comeback flurry he does, or he flips over and then he's running the ropes, but he just like collapses after running the ropes. So that was kind of interesting. He rolls out of the ring, but Garcia falls, sending him in the steel stairs, and then DDT on the concrete floor he exposed earlier. So that was really smart by Garcia, I thought.
Yeah, because it was interesting because Garcia, when Bryan goes down, Garcia's standing in the ring and sort of letting him recover, right? So I was like, where's the killer instinct? Why is he not jumping on this guy? But then, shortly after, he DDTs him on the concrete. So
There's an avalanche back suplex by Danielson. They kind of made the point that they both kind of hit their heads, so it's like, who got it worse kind of thing. So that was kind of neat. Garcia counters the wrist capture, stomps into a sleeper, and then Danielson, after a little bit, counters that in cattle mutilation. Then when that's kind of evaded, he kind of keeps that grip, and that turns into a tiger suplex for 2, which is pretty cool.
It was.
The hammer and anvil elbows by Garcia. Danielson turns around, hits the elbows of his own. then a shoulder capture suplex for 2, which looked pretty nice.
Looked awesome.
The psycho knee by Danielson, then he gets the little bell lock until Garcia gets a rope break and rolls out. Danielson hits a running knee from the apron. And then Danielson is rolling back in the ring, but then an arm from under the apron reaches and grabs him and kind of holds him.
That was weird.
To like,
they did it well.
Keep him there, for a second, and then he gets in the ring and he gets caught by a pile driver from Garcia, which I thought was smart. And then a deep sharpshooter. Eventually, Brian passes out, and then it's revealed that was Hager under the ring.
Big win for Garcia here. Did not see that coming, to be honest. So good for him. Excellent match. Like, really enjoyed it. Garcia's not quite a main eventer yet, despite being in this main event, but he's undoubtedly talented, right? Like, I'm starting to get more, especially as he's improving in the mic and they're giving him a bit of time to show his character. I don't know, man. I always just gush about Danielson, right? Like, everything the guy does looks real and intense. One of the nitpicks is when they did the 12-6 elbows, I think Garcia did them first and then Danielson did them. Like, Danielson's look like double the impact of Garcia's. But and honestly, Danielson sells his head and neck, and now we have a story all of a sudden, right? And Garcia looks like a killer DDT him on the concrete floor after that. So love that little story added some drama to this. It even can help explain away Danielson losing to Garcia, right? So Garcia's
distraction, of course.
Garcia's really good, has a bright future. Yeah, Danielson gets protected by Hager holding him, and
still an upset though.
The neck injury. Really entertaining main event with a surprising outcome, but a really good match. Danielson is not capable of having a bad match. He's the anti-Thunder Rosa, right? Like, he elevates everybody he's in the ring with. He creates an immediate little story with everyone he's in the ring with. So he's the best, man. And I like this match a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good main event, all things considered. It makes the women's match it puts that match to shame. I like how they worked with the Brian Six. I think it was done really well. And that I think that's what was that's what sidelined him before. Brian sold it really well too. I think he like sold it like really realistically, which I thought
did.
like just the way he did. I thought it was.
It almost makes me uncomfortable sometimes because I'm like, no, I
just
really don't want you to be injured. Yes.
In like when he was running the ropes, I thought that was in like that moment. It actually affected him at critical times of the match, and I thought that was great because Garcia was able to capitalize on it in really cool ways, and he was targeting it. Like, I thought when he shoved him the stairs and the DT on the floor, like, that was smart. That was cool. And using a pile driver before the last submission, another smart move.
Yep.
And that brings me to the finish. It was well done because I don't think it's a hot take to say that was a really surprising upset.
It was.
Like, when I obviously knew beforehand because we watched this morning actually because I had a headache yesterday.
You sure did.
But like, when I found out, like, I was surprised. Like, that's a huge win for Danielson.
And maybe that's why this was the main event.
Maybe,
because it was predictable outcome versus big surprise.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. But I think Garcia cut a good promo before, and he got a great performance in this match too. Both of them did.
He's growing on us.
I can't say Garcia didn't earn it. I think that was good for him.
Yep.
It depends on what Garcia they're using.
Yes,
definitely. Just kind of annoys me because the promo kind of this kind of begs the question why it's in sports entertainment faction, which. He's depends on which Garcia we want. Like, if it's sports entertainment Garcia, then I don't like it. I hate him less when he isn't doing that dumb shtick. Which is just, like the.
It just doesn't suit him at all.
It's so.
And I don't know if that's
so fake.
And I don't know if that's intentional on their part, and we're just missing the joke. But I don't like it.
I don't think so at this point.
Yeah.
Because I think he could be a great technical wrestler heel, like you kind of mentioned about Saber.
Yes.
Something like that. He's not fit as a jazz kind of heel. Anyways, really nice main event.
Agreed.
I'm just gonna go. I thought it was a much more enjoyable show than last week. I thought the opener and main event were both really good. Like, book ending.
Agreed.
That is key.
That's the key for me too.
I thought actually I like all the FTW stuff. That was pretty like just a couple short matches, a really great promo. Like you said, like I thought you made a good point of like setting all those characters off, and like I think that's really smart. Like once you point that, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes it even better. I think the best segment, maybe Starks, but one of the best like standalone segments was the Jungle Boy promo. I thought that was quite good given how he's been in the past. Like, I thought that was much better. That sets up that too. I think the biggest knock against the show is another lackluster women's match, because other than that, I think anything I didn't mention was either good or having out solid. I didn't mention it in my notes, but also like that Buck segment was solid.
Agreed.
Like,
again,
Dante Martin had a better promo than usual. Like,
yes.
I think not an amazing show, but back to good. So I think it's a pretty high B+.
Yeah, I like this episode a lot as well. The opener and the main event, same thing. Special. Really strong matches. Sammy Dante, I thought was entertaining as well as like a third match.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah, that was solid.
Again, like the segments with Paige and the Bucks, Jungle Boy Christian, and the stuff with Hobbs, Starks, and Hook, like all of those things seem to be evolving and moving forward or moving in some sort of direction. So I really like that. Only disappointment, and it doesn't give me any pleasure to say it, is the women's match, right? Disappointing again, but I pretty much liked just about everything else on this show. And since for me, it was really the segments this week that I was more interested in than usual. Segments and angles I thought were much better done than they have lately. So I actually, a little more than you, I gave this an A- show this week. Just kind of like, man, there was several segments that I thought were interesting and moved things along, right? So I was very happy with this episode, yes.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
All right, so we are going to move into our next segment where I think we're going to preview SummerSlam, and that is our Any Other Wrestling Business. All right, my son, talk to me about SummerSlam. I'll make some dazzling predictions.
SummerSlam 2022.
I'm going to try hard because you're on a 2 pay-per-view winning streak at least, so that's enough of that nonsense.
Pat McAfee versus Happy Corbin. I think it's pretty obvious win for McAfee, similar to Mania. Seems like they like to use him as a big attraction kind of thing. I don't think he'd lose unless it makes sense. I don't think Corbin stands to gain much from a win here, as what he has been doing lately, other than repeatedly losing. Like, what has he been doing lately other than repeatedly losing to Madcap Moss? It's McAfee.
It is McAfee for all of those reasons. You're right. He is still at this point like a special attraction, and they're not going to have him lose to somebody the caliber of Corbin. No way. Like maybe if he's taking on a main eventer or something, I would consider it. But until then, McAfee is not losing.
Mm-hmm. What is that?
That's just me being really hungry. Sorry.
Is it actually?
Yeah, that was my stomach growling.
Oh.
All I've had is basically that smoothie, and it's almost dinner time.
I was so
You're looking at me like, what? So yeah, It's Pat McAfee.
Next we have Bobby Lashley defending against Theory for the United States Championship, but I forgot to write that part because I'm so smart.
Lashley Theory again. Hooray. The match, the rematch you didn't know you wanted.
You gotta love the rematches, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's the best.
It is.
So I'm gonna kind of make a bold pick here, I think. As Mr. Money in the Bank, Theory has not been booked too great, which is not out of the norm for Mr. Money in the Bank.
True.
Right?
They lose generally a lot.
But it feels like Theory's almost being set up to fail. And I feel like that'll happen for 2 reasons, and not like I'm not doing the Rollins thing where I'm thinking logical. I'm thinking like reasons like that would actually apply for WWE. First off, I know their original plan was to give the briefcase to Cody, right?
Yes.
Which obviously that fell through because his entire arm turned purple.
And his chest.
Yes, the entire like right side of him. That plan fell through, and I guess Theory was their backup plan because he's the Vince pet project, which I'll get to. But I bet they still want the titles on Cody when he's ready. So if they have Theory cash in tonight and fail, it would negate the effect of the briefcase. And it would be as if nothing happened. It would be as if that just didn't exist, right? It would just like kind of erase that off the timeline kind of deal. Then they can wait it out till Rhodes. Maybe it's with Reigns continuing on. Maybe it's not. I also think Theory could lose the briefcase because he was always like a Vince pet project, and Triple H probably sees like myself that like Theory, he is a future star, but that's not 2022. You know, that's not right now. I think Triple H would have him fail and then maybe send him back to the mid card, which I think they could also do by having him beat Lashley for the title like tonight, and that kind of like sets everything back in one fell swoop. And one of the things is Lashley is Raw's top champion, top babyface champion.
Yeah.
And I guess top champion with Reigns mostly gone, right? But I could see them putting Theory back there using the mid card spot because that'll help him improve, right? And maybe McIntyre wins it at the UK show. I'm not sure. Doubt it, but not out of the question. I'll pick Theory, which I feel like is kind of a gamble with all the Money in the Bank variables, but I'm gonna take a gamble there.
I'll take Lashley. I just don't think they're gonna hot potato that. Well, I mean, they obviously could.
They do that all the time.
I shouldn't think logically, but I'm gonna try and apply logic and say that they're not gonna flip it
Oh,
back.
you tell me not to do that.
So I'll take Lashley.
Logan Paul versus The Miz. I do not want to see this whatsoever. I have zero interest in Logan Paul. Sucks they signed him because if they didn't, I would hope Triple H would get rid of him. He's not the worst celebrity wrestler. I just know who he is, and I don't like him at all. And even if he's not bad for celebrity, he's nowhere near as good as a pro wrestler, so I don't need it. He's not on like he's not like as good as Miz or like who I feel like is kind of burned out. Like my friend still thinks Miz he's great, but like I don't. Miz is past like he was great in like mid 2010s.
Miz is a good sports entertainer.
He's good. He was great in the mid 2010s. Remember when he was Intercontinental Champion?
Yeah.
Anyways, Miz can take a loss here, unfortunately, because it's pretty obvious Paul gets a win again. The babyface, not babyface. Also, payback for the main turn. It's Paul. Like it's the same thing with McAfee. I don't think Paul would lose here.
Paul is not losing here.
I've seen like the possibility like maybe they change it to a tag match with Ciampa and Styles in there to take the weight off him, but that would suck too.
Nope. Paul is winning. I'm pretty sure.
Ciampa's in such a bad spot right now.
He is.
I've heard like he's gonna have a new look for SummerSlam, which might just be ring gear, but like I saw someone suggest like where like if it's like a Miz kind of gear, like that would just be bad. Mom's texting me. No.
This match could be interesting only because I think the crowd is going to just bury Paul wanting to be a babyface. I
haven't seen
and
them
that
do
will
that yet,
amuse
though,
me.
which is weird because I thought that would be the thing.
I don't think he's getting cheers, is he? Well, it's hard to tell because they'll just pipe in whatever
That's
they
true.
want. So who knows what the crowd's actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think that they're doing this to have him lose here. So
Mm-hmm.
He's winning, unfortunately.
Next we have the Mysterios versus the Judgment Day, which they did this past week on Raw.
Ugh.
So again, but this one's no DQ. To remind you, Balor is with them in crappy ring gear. Balor looks awful.
Right.
Balor looks stupid. And so I'm calling the Judgment Day win with a turn from Dominic. They kind of teased it the other week. Maybe that comes to fruition here. Dominic debuted just under 2 years ago. His first match was at 2020 SummerSlam. So it's been like around 2 years since his in-ring debut. He has been the exact same guy for 2 years. All he's ever been is Ray's son. All he's ever done is tag with Ray and be alongside Ray, learning from him. He has little to no development in 2 years. So they either need to try something with him or he needs to get out. Whether it'll be good or not, if he turns and joins Judgment Day, at least that's something for him. He's done nothing.
Right.
In nearly 2 years. Him and Ray won tag titles for a month and then dropped into the Usos and then nothing else. He has done nothing. And that'll also give Judgment Day, like, that'll lend that faction a bit of credibility, which they could probably use. Turning Ray's own son against him, like, that would be something. And maybe he turns back to Ray eventually, but at least it's something. Dominic needs something. So I'm going to pick Judgment Day and also another reason is because I don't give a crap about the Mysterios. They've been doing the same boring shtick for 2 years.
Yeah,
Who cares?
I hate to keep agreeing with you, but I also agree. I think it's time because everyone's waiting for Dominic to turn on Ray, right? That's clearly happening. I don't care
how long
it
lasts. Just give him something.
So I think you're right, and I will also take Judgment Day. I don't have any interest in this match, if I'm being honest, but
no, I guess no DQ maybe allows something, but
I'll be watching it probably.
Yep. Or are we watching that tonight? 'Cause there's a party.
I don't know if I'll watch it live or not, but
okay,
we'll see.
That's fine.
Yeah,
we can watch it. I mean, summertime, so maybe we'll be watching it next Saturday.
Could be.
We'll be watching Battle of the Belts next Saturday.
That's true. Right.
Next we have Usos versus Street Profits Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. Jeff Jarrett, guest referee.
It was a rematch of a great match.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I think Roman will lose his title soon. It doesn't feel like it's been set up to be at SummerSlam. The Usos, on the other hand, I think is different. Sure, Roman's reign has gotten stale for like most of this year at the very least. But if that's the case for him, I'd say it's almost double the case for the Usos. They've largely just been Roman's lackeys in this tag run, and they've just been reaping the benefits. Like, gone is that intrigue and like the raw coolness that they had in like 2017 when they first they had that heel run against the New Day. Like,
they were
that's
awesome
just not
then.
there.
That was
They're
best.
basically just Roman's lackeys. So however boring Roman is, they're even more boring in my opinion. I think the match on Money in the Bank was really good, and I think that finish sets up this climactic rematch, which I think is tonight. And the Profits get their moment and put away the Usos. Because if not, who else? Who else beats them other than Street Profits? Who? They're not doing New Day
idea.
again. Like,
no. Hopefully not.
Who?
Yeah, I agree. I'm also taking the Street Profits, but maybe a different reason. I feel like at some point Triple H is going to want to like shift things a bit, like switch things up, make his impression or whatever. Just be like, Vince would want to keep the Usos champion forever with Roman because he thinks that's the only main event act that he has, and I think Trips is going to come in
another good reason,
and maybe be like, you know what? The Street Profits are good and they're killing it, and Like, why are we fighting this to the point? Like, there's not a lot of interest in the Usos
They've already held
anymore. I
both
don't
sets of
think
tag titles, but that was like ages ago.
they've let the heat of the Usos and Reigns just sort of fizzle out by doing nothing different
Just
for
cool
months
off
and
in
months
the-
and
in
months
room
and months,
temperature.
right? So I think it's about time, and Triple H can sort of say, "This is me changing things up," and
I hope he does.
I'll take the profits too.
Next, we have Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Title. So I kind of feel like Morgan retains here, and as much as I don't want her as champion here, I feel like it's more like she wins here, which is, and while it doesn't seem believable, like I'm not saying it's believable, she'd be Rousey. They could swing something because the cash, and remember that wasn't done great, like the whole knee thing.
Yep.
And B, when has that ever stopped them from doing something before? Morgan wins here because if she doesn't, it would probably like she's so popular for some reason, even though I think she's
selling
really
merch.
Not good.
Yeah.
I don't think she's good at all. But I just think it'd be a really unpopular result if she doesn't win. And I don't think Rousey cares anymore. Like I don't know why you put the title back on her. Cause it's like when Brock half-asses stuff. I don't know why you like let Brock say Brock is in that position. Why would you give a half-assing Brock the title back? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's like him now, but I'm just saying like there. And with Triple H in charge, I think there's some potential that Baszler could be rebuilt.
Yep.
And she could be the monster heel to take. I saw this when I was reading something too,
fellow.
And she takes those titles because she could just suck the hope from everyone. Just take Liv out, and it would be like a kind of Dakota Kai, except Dakota Kai was good. And I would love that. It's at least possible now because I know Tripp sees how the money in her. It's not Vince at the very least.
I don't know. I hope so. I hope you're right.
I'm not saying it's the most likely thing, but is it possible? Absolutely. Because Triple H, I know Triple H sees the money in it because he's the one who made Baszler cool. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't love Baszler. So that's a possibility. I'm taking Liv Morgan.
I will take Liv Morgan as well, and I think Ronda Rousey maybe turns heel just to switch something up. She needs to be freshened up as well, right?
She's better. Remember when she kind of turned heel like in her first run?
Yeah.
Because she got like a crap reaction after the Charlotte match, and then so she was kind of heel going into the Mania main event.
I think Vince struggles with taking people who have mainstream appeal and recognition and making them heels. I think he just feels like that's just not the way to make money. But I think Triple H, again, if he actually has control and he's not just doing what Vince wants,
I think it's like a case-to-case basis, whichever way they work better. Like if you're like I don't know, it just depends. Like,
and I also don't think
Paul should be a heel too.
I also don't think Liv Morgan is at the top tier of women's talent in that company,
yet,
but I don't think they're taking it off of her yet. So I'll take Ronda Rousey with the bonus of a heel turn prediction.
That's fair. I'll note that just in case.
To give me a bonus point if I get it.
Well, no, I just want to make sure. I just want to note that you. I don't think
saying
that
heel
counts
turn
for points.
No,
I'll just note that
it won't count for points.
Belair versus Lynch Mania rematch. Raw Women's title. Actually, technically, if you want to go there, it's a rematch from last year's SummerSlam. You might forget that because it was 23 seconds.
That's right.
I think this one could go either way, but I'll pick Belair because I really don't think Lynch needs another title right now. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. She's not that hot like she once was. Like, just she feels really lukewarm right now.
Yeah.
To put it that way, and I think Belair should drop to someone who makes more sense. Maybe it'll be soon. I don't know who. But I don't think it'll be Lynch. I've heard rumors of an imminent Bayley return. Or like,
yes, me too.
That's possible.
I've heard that either Bayley or Charlotte may get involved in this one.
Yeah,
sorry to mention that one, but
Charlotte been actually what?
Right?
Oh, that's so weird.
So I've heard that one of those two should be expected almost.
Where has she been?
I don't know.
That's so weird.
She's been gone for a while, right?
I just know that is so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right, that is so weird. And so Bayley's still a heel. She could beat Belair. I like that. And if she's not a heel, I don't know. They could work something out, but I just don't think it's Lynch.
If it were Vince still, I feel like he's the way he is, that he would be like, all the fans are going to be like, yeah, Bianca's going to get her win back from SummerSlam a year ago. And he'll be like, she's getting basically squashed again. But without Vince, I think it makes sense for Belair to retain. They have built her into a star. It's not time to like take that title off of her yet. You can have Becky lose because of Bayley or because of Charlotte and have them spin into a pretty star-studded feud in that direction if you want to, or somebody helps Bianca retain because they want to be the one to take it from her. Whatever you want to do, I think you can find a way and that it stays on Bianca here.
Mm-hmm. All right, we can agree on that one. Main event, unless they put it as the opener. World title match is the opener.
Yeah, maybe. The
Uh,
precedent set.
exactly. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, last man standing, undisputed WWE Universal Championship. That is a mouthful.
So
for
wait, are
one
they
title.
just saying Rollins isn't having a match now?
I'll get there.
Oh, okay.
It's nothing confirmed, but I do want to discuss that afterwards.
Okay. Sorry.
We'll get there. So far that at least that like the Riddle things that it's kayfabe too, so it's interesting.
Right.
Anyways, it's Roman.
Yeah.
Why would Brock win here? If he's champion, they're in a no better situation than they are with Reigns, because like the whole thing is that Reigns is part-time, he's holding the titles hostage. Brock is no better, and
Yeah.
Vince isn't really calling the shots anymore, so it's not like Brock has to be shoehorned in. It's not like Vince is like, I think this might be Brock's last hurrah, if I'm being honest. Maybe not that far, but I don't think he's getting any more titles, at least. Like I don't, why would that happen? And while I'm not super fond of this either, it's also not overly likely, but like out of the two options, McIntyre's a better bet than Lesnar. Like I don't love either, but like if you're picking between those two, I'm betting on McIntyre.
All right.
They did kind of tease McIntyre versus Lesnar, but I feel like that's one of those bait and switches.
Yeah.
To kind of throw you off the scent, but not really. Reigns holds on to the titles at least for the time being. Maybe Theory fails to cash in tonight, but Reigns wins here, and this feud is finally put to bed. I think this is finally the last one of this feud. Like, this has been a feud off and on since 2015.
It has
7 years.
Yep.
It's gross.
So
and if you include them in a triple threat with Dean Ambrose, they've faced off like probably in some capacity every year since like 2015.
Right.
Well, except 2020. Sorry, that's.
So you put a lot of thought into this one.
I'm still going.
Oh, sorry.
As far as this defeat goes, I
Goodness.
still like it to be Rollins, but I've kind of given up hope on that because all the best opportunities have been passed. Rumble, Chamber, Mania, Money in the Bank. But there's the little caveat that Rollins has always been a Triple H guy, so
He has.
maybe there's that. Like, and I will say, like, Rollins is one of the main roster guys that I really like still. So maybe we finally have a chance because Rollins is such a Triple H guy, and I'm not even complaining about that. I don't blame Triple H either. Maybe they pull like, cause one of the options they have that we've kind of forgotten about is Theory could drop the briefcase to someone. Maybe that's Rollins.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I would like it to be Rollins, but probably not. But I'm just saying that is an option. It's unlikely. I'm just spitballing because think when Otis had the briefcase, they had no plan for that. What did he do? He dropped it to Miz. Like,
right.
And Kennedy did that. That was obviously because of an injury, but still, it counts. But with Triple H and creative control, it's fun to hope for better because it's not impossible now. So I'm gonna pick Roman anyways.
All right, you put a lot of thought into it. I'm just going by feel, and it honestly feels to me like Roman is winning. I just doesn't. I agree. And again, I'm only listening to people review Raw and reading stuff. I'm not watching it, but it doesn't feel like the momentum is there for Brock at this point. So I'm just gonna say Roman.
I would even say not only is it less likely that Trips would want him winning the title, I feel like it's less likely that Brock. I feel like Brock would be like, maybe it's like, because you remember he said like if he's gone, I'm gone. Maybe they coaxed him into staying for this,
and then
that doesn't mean he's staying
beyond
after this.
Right.
Maybe this is like they like, why don't you do this last one? You'll get your payday, then you can be on your merit. Maybe that he's just staying for this.
Right. That could be. I'm feeling.
I hope so.
Just feels like Roman to me.
Yeah. And so as a just in case, Rollins versus Riddle's replacement. So first question, do you think that'll happen? Yes or no?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I also agree with that.
I think Trips wants to put some surprise on his.
Who do you think it's going to be? I have no idea. The only thing I can think of is Gargano, and that is the only idea. And I have not heard anything. I have heard nothing. I just wanted to talk about this because I thought it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I have no ideas other than Gargano. I can't, like, who do you think fits in there? You know? I can't think of anything.
Is there anyone that's been injured for a long time or anything?
I'm trying to think.
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
I think of Gargano, and he's still a free agent, yeah. So
yeah.
I have no. This is not good air, but I don't know. I thought it's interesting to talk about.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else it could be.
I don't know. Are you looking at stuff?
Yeah, there's someone saying, who would this be? A 15-time champion.
Cena.
Oh, most likely opponent is Dolph Ziggler, according to Brian Alvarez.
What?
Yay, that moves the
What?
needle. That puts butts in seats, as they say.
What?
Right?
What?
I don't know, man.
He's been what? He's been
That's
talking. He's been attacking Theory.
I don't know. They need somebody, I guess. I don't know.
I'm gonna pick Gargano because screw Dolph Ziggler.
I don't want to pick Ziggler either. but I
Wait
don't
a
really-
minute. I will not pick Gargano. You said maybe they give Rollins a win because Triple H doesn't want him to be a loser anymore. He could totally kick Ziggler's ass. Huh.
He could.
Now I'm in a tough position here. Because on one hand, Gargano's a better surprise. On the other hand, why would Gargano lose? You know?
Right.
Decisions. It's interesting. Those are the only two that I guess we have because I don't like who else really works in there.
I can't think of anyone. I'm struggling.
Big E.
No, I don't think so. Everything I'm seeing says Ziggler. I know, right? I'll take Ziggler then.
I want to pick Gargano, but
Take a risk. Is that worth a point on our scorekeeping?
I'm not sure. Well,
Okay.
Probably. I don't see why not.
Okay.
Maybe depending on like who wins, and also if we pick it, or maybe you get an extra point if you pick the right guy.
Sure. A bonus point. And then Rollins wins. Rollins beats whoever, and I'll say Ziggler.
I want to say Rollins wins too, but then I guess I can't really pick Gargano.
Hurry up, man. We're at
Okay,
2:35
I'll hope for Ziggler.
already.
Or sorry,
With Ziggler.
no, I'll hope for Gargano, but I'll pick Ziggler. That just makes sense, I guess. Like, and then Rollins can win, and
Yeah.
I've also heard that like it's weird because so when he attacks Theory, he's been wearing like the black suit, so it looks like heel Ziggler still, but I've heard that that's turning him face, which it doesn't look like face. But
No.
anyways, that's what I've heard. Rollins could stay heel, get a win, and then maybe set him on a course to the title.
Right.
So
There you go.
hopefully Rollins gets a win because my boy has been
Triple
done
H may
dirty
just-
this year.
Triple H may just want him in like a really, really good match, right? And Ziggler's capable of pulling off a good
They had
match,
a good feud in
so-
2018. I remember. That's SummerSlam 2018. They had a match. Guess what Rollins wore then?
White.
Thanos.
Oh, nice. So we're good on SummerSlam?
Yes, sir.
And that's all we have for any other
That's
wrestling
tonight.
business. We're going to quickly transition into our
we will maybe review it.
final segment that we'll review it at some point, whether it's next Saturday quickly or
we will maybe put out a bonus.
Oh, right. But our final segment should be Jack quickly updating us on his wrestling figure collection after his birthday on this past Wednesday. We like to call that segment Figuring It Out with Jack.
Yeah, so not a lot this week, just the birthday stuff, which is just
your
a little
ever-growing figure collection grew.
Yeah.
So let's start out with your mother and I bought you how many figures?
5.
So
Okay.
2 of them we ordered from the U.S. from Ringside, which were?
Oh, yeah, so I got Elite 92 Chase Adam Cole, so that's cool.
Right.
Chase variant. It's the War Games 2018 gear in the camo, so that matches the Kyle O'Reilly and Roddy
Is that the
I
one
have.
that came with a chair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the cloth shirt, which is always better than a not cloth shirt. And so it's cool. A good head scan, and it's a double joint Adam Cole, so it's basically current Adam Cole. His last Elite.
His
so
ankle's good?
It doesn't have a loose ankle, so
Nice.
that's my thing with Adam Cole's.
So your other Ringside one was the one you really wanted, right?
Oh, yeah, the one that I wanted the most, because I didn't expect to get Adam Cole, although I did want it because it matches the gear. Now I just need to track down the older Bobby Fish, which is Elite 79.
Good luck.
Because it's camo. I don't know. I'll eBay that or something at some point. And then I got the Ringside exclusive, the coffin drop, Darby Allin. So the one in the coffin.
In the giant coffin.
Yeah, which I put on the shelf next to the
And
pack.
it has body paint, which is cool.
Oh, yeah, it's got some of the body paint, which I like, because that's my favorite. And it's got 2 head scans with the face paint, which is pretty nice. Gotta love the cool face paint. And he comes with a literal body bag. Oh, and the skateboard is shaped like a coffin. So
Right.
that's kind of neat. Yeah. So
Did it
he's got,
break
like,
when
a
you
huge
pick it
body
up,
bag.
or no?
No, it actually didn't. Yeah. So it's funny. I think it's like longer than the other skateboards too. Like, and then it's obviously coffin shaped.
And then we found a treasure trove of AEW figures in a Toys R Us that you didn't have. So what were the
Which is
other
weird,
3
'cause
we picked you?
A, I don't remember the last time I've seen new AEW figures. B, Toys R Us usually gets them later than Walmart. So.
Yeah. So I was excited because one of them I'll spoil was Stu Grayson, who we love on this
Yeah.
podcast.
So I got AEW and Match Series 3. Got Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, and John Silver. Other one that was interesting is Brody Lee. I haven't gotten that yet. Maybe I'll buy that at some point. So that's cool. Those are pretty nice.
Yeah,
So we
and
got
then
other heads. And then I went out and bought stuff. I actually didn't find any wrestling figures that I got.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, that's right. You
I
ended
didn't
up
buy
with.
any wrestling
So
figures.
now
but
figuring it out is bleeding into Marvel crap. Great.
Still figuring.
I guess.
So,
go ahead. This is for your birthday. You're allowed to talk about it.
Oh, I'll talk about it any time I get them, yo.
Great.
I got Marvel Legends. I got one from Falcon Winter Soldier, which was I got the Winter Soldier, like a flashback one. Basically Bucky when he was the Winter Soldier with the silver arm.
Sure.
It basically looks like Bucky from Captain America 2. It's from the show because it was in a flashback dream that he had. So that's cool because I really like him from Captain America 2. He was really cool. Or Civil War, I guess. So that's really cool. It's got like the one head with the mask and then one without a mask. So that's kind of cool.
Yep.
I like that. I like Bucky. And then I got a couple more. I got from Thor: Love and Thunder, which was the movie I saw recently, which I like twice, which I like a lot. So I got Ravager Thor, which is Thor in like Ravager clothes, which is like from Guardians kind of. So it looks kind of like that. So that's kind of cool because it's got the head looks like super like Chris Hemsworth. So that's really cool. And then I got Gore, the God Butcher. Which is Christian
cool.
Bale, which
the head scan is crazy.
It's crazy accurate. It's almost too good.
It looks like him, yeah.
It looks so much like it's really
They just
cool.
shrunk his head down and popped it on there.
Exactly. And then I also like the texturing on his sword, the all black, the Necro sword.
Yep.
That looks really nice, and he's got some cool. The Thor's cool too. He's got like the best. So it was really nice. I almost got Star-Lord, but I returned that because money. But then I also got, so those come with build-a-figure pieces for Korg, so I got a rock leg and a rock arm, so
yep,
arm and a leg.
Arm and a leg.
And so I'll eventually track down the rest of the wave, because I like a lot of the figures in that wave. There's also another Thor in like this blue and gold suit, and there's Star-Lord, King Valkyrie,
yep,
who's not a dude.
Makes sense.
Female. And then there's also Mighty Thor, which is Natalie Portman. I hate Natalie Portman. Then there's also Groot. Teen Groot, so that's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yep, and that
is it
for now.
Well, that's gonna wrap up a very beefy, pushing up towards 3-hour episode of FNS Wrestling
I think
Podcast.
It's gonna be a shorter one this week.
I did too, but I told you.
Yeah,
I said that, and then I go.
That's why I was saying that.
As soon as we get down there, it's 2 hours minimum, no matter what, no matter how much we talk about. But hopefully you enjoyed at least some of this 2 hour and 40-minute podcast. If you did, and you'd like to contact us, we'd love to hear from you. I haven't put out our stuff recently. fnswrestling@gmail.com.
Also, if anyone out there gets tickets for the AEW show, let us know, because we're probably going to go.
We'll meet you there. We'll bring you a sticker if we have any left.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get some FNS stickers.
I'll remember to bring the stickers, yeah. So, yeah, if anyone listening to us ends up going to the show,
Although they have no idea what we look like, since we've refused to put any video up.
Well, I'm ugly, so.
How about I'll wear my, we can wear our FNS shirts.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, if anyone will wear those, yeah.
You can ask us for a sticker. We'd be glad to give it to you. So
I have many stickers.
fnswrestling@gmail.com or FNS_wrestling_podcast on Instagram. Feel free to contact us. We appreciate you tuning in to listen to us talk about wrestling. Anytime you spend with us, we really do appreciate it. Hopefully we get a good SummerSlam tomorrow that we love and want to talk about early, but probably not. So we'll probably fold it into next Saturday's episode 107.
The excitement I have is lukewarm.
Right. Which we hope to see you back here for that. And until then, take care.